It has been a busy week. How is everybody? Let's just check in and do a little basic roll call here. It looks like we have a little over half of our attendees. So everybody can see my screen, I hope? Okay, cool. Let me get on the right. It's good to see you, Tim, it looks like. And how many of you have started on your PinVid system? How many of you started including it? Give me a 1 if you have. Tim, I know you have. It's good to see you, Stephen. Thanks for jumping in. Does everybody have access to everything that they need? That's the first thing. Hi, Carol. It was good to speak to you. Carol says that she started. She's still working on the profile issues. Okay. I'm going to pull over my separate screen here so you guys can see what we're up to. So we've gone through quite a few things this last week, and as you can see, I've changed the background of the theme. You might find that changing the background happens a couple different times as you get good at what's going on. Does everybody remember how to change the background on Kevin's version of the pinboard theme, the semantic pinboard? I hope you do. Let me just move this over so I can have a dual monitor scenario here. Okay, so lots happened since we got together last week. The main thing is we had some technical difficulty on this site, which has to do with the server that it was on. And again, this is all part and parcel with stuff you are going to learn on an ongoing basis. This particular site is not on the PinVid service. This is on our OVH server. And so we've been kind of working with both. Looks like Tawny has jumped in. That's great. Andy, it's also good to see you. Do we have any questions before we start today? We're going to kind of go back to the spreadsheet. Does everybody have access to the spreadsheet? We do have some new folks that have come in since the last webinar. And does everybody remember where we left off? That's a good question, Tim. There is an optimal size for the background image of a blog. I recently found this out. And they don't know what it is, but I'm going to include it in the course as soon as I get the precise. There's a couple different arguments on this. Sue might have it. I know we have it lying around somewhere, but there is an optimal, not only an optimal size, but an optimal load. You don't want the backgrounds to be too huge because when they are, they take too long to load. You guys got it, right? And if it takes too long to load, it just kind of looks a little bit bad when you're loading up the site. Okay. Still waiting for everybody to come in the room. Okay, give me a 2 if you have not started on your PinVid site at all. And I will not name you. Okay. It's all right. So some of the things that have happened since we started last week is you can see that we have created some banners. I spent, I don't know, all of maybe less than a half an hour creating this. And just so you guys know, we do have in the private members area now, we have all of this information for you. This is what I consider to be a bonus module. For some reason, it seems to be where everybody who is SEO obsessed falls down, which is creating banners and or what I call rapid prototyping when I'm amongst higher level, let's say when I need to have a little couth. And when I don't care about couth, I call it ghetto banner, rapid ghetto banner creation. Okay, now we have this new bonus section. It's probably the most solid, rapid banner prototyping information I've ever provided. And you can see it under this section on the side, marketing, call to action, cosmetic, and video plugins. If you go down here to the bonus module, fast ghetto banner creation, you can see that any of the things that you might have missed on last week's webinar are now included, where I give you every single tool that I have. And let me close this. In these two videos, I give you every single tool that I use to create rapid prototyping. Okay, and it's actually almost an hour, slightly over an hour of content. Okay, I also give you some, at the bottom you can see I give you some tips. There are several ways to create ghetto banners. I'm providing a couple of methods. I give you the software that I use. I also show you some of the hard-earned tricks on how to save thousands of hours per year. I would at least say dozens of hours per year, probably at least a couple of days, by not having to upload images after you snag them. Give me a 1 if you guys have learned how to deal with images by instantly uploading them to your server, or if you're still uploading them through your WordPress blog. Both methods has their ups and downs, so it really depends on how rapid you need to prototype things. Give me a 1 if you're still uploading through the blog, or 2 if you know how to use Jing and Snagit to upload directly to a folder in your server. Okay. Some of you guys have both ways. There are ups and downs. Highly recommended that you if you are doing instant uploads, keep it on the blog that you're focused on. Do as I say, not as I do, in this case, because I didn't have the time to get this blog set up to upload the images directly to it. So you guys both know both methods. I've also given you, I'm going to fix this, but I've given you the exact embed preset that needs to be in place for those of you who are a little code deficient. That is me. Don't ever depend upon me to write or code or script anything. In fact, in one of these videos, I had to go back to something that Jimmy or Sue had done correctly to give you the correct nofollow. Good news is that WordPress does everything for you, and if you know how to use it, it already gives you the nofollow. In the new version, they even nofollow links if you want to. I show you how to do that as well. Okay, let's go back to where we were. Okay, so let's kind of look at where we got. Now, keep in mind that I've done the best I can do to give you guys a linear format of how to do this. Now, there are times when the decision tree forks, and you might choose to go a different way. However, generally speaking, all the steps need to be done in this fashion. So we're actually going to go, we're going to take a look at the locations of the images. Since this was completed, I did video shoot the process of doing this for you, but I want to actually show you what I did since we didn't do it live last week. This will save a lot of time, and I'm kind of glad that I videoed it, because it would have been me, you sitting here watching me for like 45 minutes or so, and I would have been kind of, I go through, as you'll see in the video, I go through kind of a long process left over from certification 1 and certification 2 to come up with the creative and the positioning for the banner. This banner is only one of a couple that I would test. In the video, I also give you some ideas of how you could split test banners, including using Banner Snack if you wanted to use something independent. Also talk super briefly about the banner system that Kevin, Sue, and I are auditing and using. And that's in there as well. If you have big hopes and dreams to create your own banner network, there is open source software formerly called OpenX, now called Revive. So we get into that a little bit. We're not going to spend too much time on that today. However, this is an ongoing perpetual mastermind, and I know that some of you have a pretty big vision. Knowing banners, creatives, ghetto banner creation, and network banner creation and tracking is key, okay, to this whole system. So let's go quickly over the main locations and call to actions. This is called the site-wide banner, right? Okay, the site-wide banner is going to be, let's go ahead and just go into the location of where Kevin has placed the site-wide banner on this theme. This is the correct size. I think it's 720 by 4 something or other. That's going to be, not sure if I showed you guys this last week, so just let me know. That's going to be under widget. It's going to be in your text area. Okay. Does everybody get that? Give me a 1 if you're clear on that. Anybody have any questions on tracking? It's all very clearly laid out for you in that bonus module. Any questions on tracking? Give me a 1, and I'll answer them here. Give me a 2 if you have no questions on tracking. Looks like somebody has arrived on the line because I can hear, let me see who's arrived. Maybe Jimmy's here? Or? That must be Sue. Okay.
I am here. How's it going, Russ?
Oh, hi, Jimmy. Good to see you. It's always good to have you around at arm's length so that we can pick on you.
Only arm's length?
so that you don't blow stuff up. Because you just never know what you're going to do. You never know what Jimmy's going to do. It is, yeah. Every day. Sometimes I hear his voice now, and I know he's coming at me with a new tip and secret and some kind of major hack that's going to blow my mind and get me distracted for hours, and as I game the search engines and defeat them. So now I keep you at arm's length.
My last one was pretty good, right?
It was, yeah. Yeah, I'm still recovering. I had to go and buy a bottle of tequila after that one. Okay. Okay, so you guys understand the basic, make sure to no follow, okay? I actually use the no follow. Now, in the video, to not take up your time on this webinar, in the video I very clearly go down how to do your tracking. This tracking is a little long, I explain why, but I explain very clearly that you need to come up with your own reference code on that, all right? So we're not going to get too much into that code. Cool thing about using WordPress is that WordPress will give you the no follow. You don't have to edit it yourself, okay? So that, as you guys know, that is the site-wide banner. One time, and it's going to be site-wide through the entire thing. I believe Kevin, I don't know if he's here, but he did create a semantic markup. So this is going to, the site that it points to is a little bit slow. It should be okay. But you'll see the tracking code up here. You can make yours a little bit shorter than that. And that's going to track, not only will it track the clicks to this site, but in the Google Analytics for this site, you'll be able to, which is automatic video traffic, you'll be able to see which, especially when you get hundreds of PinVid sites happening, you'll be able to see which ones are converting and which banners are converting. And if you're doing a banner rotation, make sure, or a banner split test, which again we're not going to be getting into until probably a few weeks from now. If you're going to be rotating and using a banner syndication system, you're going to want to track each banner obviously independently. Okay. Kevin is here. Kevin, that banner is semantically marked up, right? Is that clear about that?
Yeah.
I've never really known.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll double check everything and make sure that that complete widget is marked up. And if it isn't, what I'll do is I'll provide the code so that all of the people taking the course can just wrap that around their banner with clear instructions on how to implement it. And the same can be used for the under video banners and things like that. So I'll deal with all that.
How many of you guys on this call, students and folks, knew that banners were even an object that could be marked up in the semantic scheme of things? Give me a 1 if you knew that, and 2 if you were as surprised as I was. And if you
I knew it.
Sue, you be quiet. You know everything. Okay, so you smarty pantses who are putting 1s up there, okay, well, you're smarter than me, which, by the way, is not that hard to do, despite popular belief. Is that popular belief? Wow, that was flattering myself. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Steve didn't know. Somebody didn't know besides me. Gosh. Otherwise, I'm going to start feeling really not very smart. Okay. So that's all there. Kevin just sent me a new version of this morning, so we're going to be dealing with all that. And I probably shouldn't have said that because now I'm going to get a storm of. Okay, what else do we have? Let's go ahead and look. You can see this was published probably this morning sometime. And again, I covered this really well for you in the video as to not waste too much time on the webinars. You will see that we have a new banner underneath. Now, knowing that I'm in the middle of the webinar is probably when John is going to decide to do a complete Plesk server update. Okay, I actually think at this point he intentionally does the server upgrades during the webinar. Okay, so we have the banners. You can see that we have a banner here. This is an under video banner. Who can give me let's go ahead and play a game. Everybody type in where you have access to this banner in the current version of Semantic Pin Board and in Video Kraken 1.0. How do you change this banner? Again, covered for all of you in the new members area with the most in-depth ghetto banner creation module I've ever created. So yeah, Carol, you got it. Star for you. Brian, of course. It's always a smarty. Anybody else know how to change this? If you have 50,000 images or posts on this website and you want to change this, you can do so at any time. Andy actually said yes, it's in either location. Actually, that brings up a question, Sue. Is Andy wrong when he says Video Kraken? If I have 50,000 posts and I remove the shortcode from Video Kraken, it doesn't remove it from the post. It only does it with UI, right?
It will not remove it from existing posts. It'll remove it from all new posts there forward.
And Andy, that's exactly the reason that we have implemented shortcode UI and why Video Kraken Dominator coming will have the shortcodes built right into it like Video Silo plugin does. Because you can't, I think a lot of people thought that as well, so they would put the code right in there. So edit or change the shortcode area. And let's go in there and just take a look at that real quick, because I think that was one of the things that we really rushed through last week. We didn't really get into it. So shortcode UI is a very simple plugin. By the way, team members, feel free to jump in at any time if I'm not getting things correct. So it's been a line. Okay, you can see that the shortcodes in this version will be installed, of course, with the PinVid hosting, with the hosting shop. Kevin has this already there. And as you remember last week, we had the herbal Viagra thing, like right underneath the Video Kraken stuff, which is not exactly what we're selling. Although if I was selling the Video Kraken plugin, I'm sure that's not too far from a congruent product or service. Okay, so I was kidding. My jokes are, I can't hear you guys laugh, so I don't know. The under video text. Okay, we've got the under video text, which you will see is under the banner. Somebody laughed. Thanks, Carol. Okay, here's the ultimate video keyword research tool. This is under video text. Keep in mind that I've spent very little time on any of this. The sky's the limit to what you can really do with the short code. You can put anything that you can think of that might be useful under here. You want to check it out with the team, and if you have any new ideas, don't be afraid to try stuff. Okay, so this is where the banner goes. I tracked this separately. This is the UTM source is PinVid, video keyword research, and under video banner. I always let myself know. Part of the reason I'm so maybe OCD about the tracking on all different levels is that when I open my Google Analytics, I'm looking at about 100 websites per Google Analytics account in one fell swoop in the morning. I just want to be able to scan and go down that whole, look at everything and scan it. So, I don't want to go into campaigns and have to go 3 pages deep to look at that. Okay, so let's go shortcodes. Let's go over to the, let's look at another shortcode, under video banner. You guys get that, right? Just go ahead and edit. I show you again in the video, so we can skip that today. Just go into the banner ghetto creation video I made for you, okay? You can see this, there's the long tracking ID. There's ways to make that much shorter. I've given you those instructions as well. There's the rel equals no follow, and there's the image folder that it's being held in, okay? Give me a 1 if we can move on, if you guys understand how to do that, just so we kind of know what's going on. I don't want to overdo. Keep beating the drum. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, you can see these are the key components, right? These are the shortcode tags. Now, we have ways that we set things up, but I would like to treat the automatic video traffic school and system with you guys. You are the early adopters. Okay, we're just getting this stuff off the ground. You guys are going to be privy to everything. You're going to see everything, the additions, the changes. You're going to have access to the new software. All I can say is that we have stuff on the back end that's so powerful that it makes me nervous. I'm not certain how to share it in a group setting. In fact, I'm not even sure that some of the stuff that we need to share with you will necessarily be on a webinar. We have to think some things through. Some of it's changing. The video Kraken version 2.0 coming out, for instance, we'll have to have a unique training module just for it alone. But when you look at this, the under video banner, pretty simple. You can see I already had it in there. Where is that going to be? This is what Andy was trying to say. The short code will be over, of course, in the settings area in Video Kraken. Okay, now this was a test setup, and in this test setup, I had used the embed HTML. The embed HTML is not the correct code that I'd like you to have in there. You can definitely use it just a default. We've given you a bit more sophisticated code, and now we're going to put that in because we've gotten to that point. Let's go ahead and go over to the spreadsheet, and we're going to pull that code, if I can find it. There it is. This is the code that I want you guys to use. You all have access to it. Did I say you all? I must be getting ready for Nashville soon. We'll put that here. Yeah, I did say you all.
I blame Jimmy.
But why? Because Jimmy, because he's just here. Got it.
No,
Okay.
because he started saying you all. He moved to Texas.
Oh, that's right. Jimmy, did you just start saying that, or have you always said that?
No, he just started.
He went off to go blow something up. Okay, so if we put this here, click Save Changes. Go ahead and use that code as is, and don't get me started on the pain it caused me to fix that code. There was several different issues that came up. Certified advisors needed to have a special fix for another plugin we use for them. Under video banner, under video text. Okay, I do recommend using video descriptions. I'm not going to touch the SEO aspects of this. That's why Jimmy and Sue are here. I'm just telling you what I do with a lot of success. Okay, so the video description, I actually put the video description under the video banner and the video text. That's just me. But you can play with different things. And even on our own team, we have different opinions about where things should go. I'm just letting you know what I've done as a default. Got to try different things. So that is the video description. And what that does is that swipes from YouTube the video description as is. And of course, we get a lot of questions on that in terms of duplicate content and so on and so forth. All I can tell you is that this system, especially when you're using videos, works regardless of whether you have the dupe content or not. We have remix enhancements coming in version 2.0. SEOs team on the team that are here, feel free to jump in at any time. Keep in mind that the version that we have coming up will mark up the videos internally instead of the long server-intensive way that Yoast's Video SEO XML plugin does, which is like, oh my God, so server-intensive you wouldn't believe it, you guys. You can watch that thing turn on, and basically I've had the server drop during updates when the sites get 10,000 pages or greater. Okay, so we've really got to do something about that. Kevin and Sue and the team have cracked that. That will be coming out on the next release. Just warning you guys, it's going to render the Yoast Video SEO XML plugin, which is both expensive and ridiculously server-intensive, obsolete. So I'm just kind of giving you a warning on that one. Okay, so we have video description here. Please leave the rating alone unless you want it purely for cosmetic purposes. Can't really recommend the rating. This was back when star ratings, when we could game the star ratings. Does anybody remember that? You guys know what star ratings are? Okay. Worked for a while, then Kevin gave us a warning saying it's not going to work anymore, or one of you guys did on the team. And then sure enough, Google removed star ratings because everybody was gaming them, and that's how it works. Okay, so we'll go ahead and click Save on this. And this is the embed code that you need to have. You can also adjust the sizes if you really want to. All right, let's go ahead and, since we've saved that change, we'll leave it here for now. Now, one thing that you can do, which I like to do, is you can put your Facebook like box directly in the settings. You can also put it directly in the shortcode UI, which is what I recommend, because the shortcode UI, if you change your mind and you want to change your WR2 like box to a WR1 like box, which is one of those decision trees that I'll have to talk to you guys about or train you with. It's a kind of a big decision. I have had huge success in putting the WR1 fan page like box embedded in the bottom of every post of a WR2 site. So that's a little bit of a variable. It's a variation, and it depends on your branding, depends on the topic or the theme that you're in, and it depends on the topic and the theme of the PinVid site. Give me one if you understood what I was saying right there, or if I just confused you by adding that Facebook element. Okay. It's actually a big decision to use the Facebook like box of your WR1 in your PinVid site. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out when we should get into that, because I actually noticed that function. Carol wants to know that criteria. I know. Gosh, I should discuss the criteria of that. Actually, it's a big deal. I noticed that it wasn't adequately placed in the spreadsheet, and I need to do that. The criteria would be, actually, let's move on for a minute. Carol, let me come back to that. Be sure to kick me if I leave this webinar without getting into it, okay? Okay. So let's go ahead and do a test. Since let's stick right where we were. Let's do a test. Let's do an SEO software run. That code that we just put in there, guys, is the code that allows the very controversial YouTube blocker plugin to work, which is certified advisor only, meaning live events only. That's one of the main reasons you would want to use it. Without it, the blocker plugin would not work. And you have to be trained person to person with our team in order to use that. We have to look right into your eyes and go, okay, you're not going to blow yourself up, right? That's why we don't provide it in this training. But it's also good for many other things. It's good for the correct sizing, and also it's correct for the YouTube API version 3.0. It's a little bit weird because when this plugin uses the YouTube API, and when they jumped from API version 2.0 to version 3.0, they changed some of the shortcodes internal to Google or internal to YouTube, which is kind of weird. So it's a long story, and I won't bore you with it. Okay, so this should have been updated. Okay. And you still have the correct size sitting there. It's just changed it a little bit longer. Okay, you got your, see if it exits the site properly, tracking it. Yeah, so we're good. And I decided to sell the course that you guys are taking right now as a demo instead of only selling Kraken's YouTube or keyword research function. I'll actually be using this. What I'm going to do later on is actually use this site to sell both, and we're going to rotate the banners, and that'll be the first time I've publicly taught banner rotation as well. But that's something that Kevin and I need to get together on a couple of things. Okay. All right, let's go back to the spreadsheet. When in doubt, go back to the spreadsheet. Let's go ahead and start checking things off. Now, I forgot to show you guys last week. Okay, we are on the revolver text. I added a trackable call to action under the globe while you guys were sleeping. Okay, so the best thing to do is just take a look at what I did really quick, because I wasn't able. You can see right here, fans love this software. If you look at the bottom, you can see it's a clickable call to action. I usually just call that PinVid and then name of site and then under globe. So UNDR. So come up with your own names for the locations where you have your clickable tracking. There are some sites that I have that the under globe call to action just gets hammered, and then there's other sites where it doesn't at all. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. Okay, so there's that one. We can check that one off now so that we don't have to spend all the time doing it today. So we're going to do that. One thing I forgot to do, which I think is important, because I looked and audited myself this morning before we got started, and I very clearly gave myself instructions to add Twitter to connect the Google Biz page and add Facebook to connect the Google Biz page. And yet I went over to my little private login area and none of them are added. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Remember I talked to you guys about the lateral control panel last week? Okay. I don't even remember how I got here. Let's get rid of all stuff. Okay, good. So what I'm going to do is I'm right now in the Google dashboard that's dedicated to video keyword research. Okay, I've got my left to right whole control panel. Okay, now let's go back over. Remember how I told you go from left to right and everything is connected all the way to your Hootsuite on the far right corner? Give me one if you guys remember, just so I know that everybody's awake. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your patience. There is so much stuff I would like to tell you about Google Plus Biz page, but both Kevin and Jimmy would kill me. So all I can do is suggest that you need to come to the certified, to know how powerful the semantic web and Google Plus Biz page is. You really have to come and hang out with us. We're giving you some of the basics on these trainings, but some of it's just got to be live training. But I'm going to stick really to the PinVid stuff right here. I did give you a quick, like 5-minute video coverage of this. Do confirm your email. Remember, over the next few years, Google is going to get ridiculously powerful, like NSA times 2, even when it comes to verifying consumer. When you toss in all the stuff that Kevin teaches you with the semantic web, you start getting to a level of accountability that renders a lot of the behaviors and ideas in the early SEO. You know, we'll look back in history and we'll look back at that time and laugh. Okay, that's where things are going. Google Skyfall is only the beginning of that. And if you're just following basic understandings of how the back-end databases work and verifying your accounts, you don't have a lot to worry about. Not in the same way that this kind of random phantasmagoria of link mishmash, whatever you might call it, kind of stuff that's been going on out there for backlinks. Once you keep things like coherent and organized around a centralized theme, and you keep your profiles and identities clear with a core business objective and a semantically marked up business objective, you're going to be fine. Okay, so go ahead and just verify the email tied to this. And I did have one of you ask whether you can have a regular email account like russell@themezoom.com. You absolutely can. In fact, don't get Sue started on this. We set up our own email accounts with the Google MX, and you can still have your own MX records. But Google allows you, you guys probably know this, Google allows you to tie your own email address to a Google dashboard, and you log into Gmail just like you do anything else. You guys know that? Just the one, so you don't have to use a Gmail domain if you don't want to. And you still get all the benefits of the Google dashboard. But in either case, when you get this gray check mark, it means you have been verified. Okay. Similarly, as we discussed last week, the video keywordresearch.com has been verified. Okay, let's just do a quick pop quiz. What are the 2 ways that you can verify your Google Plus Biz page and therefore your site as a verified publisher? Anyone? Thanks, Brian. Brian got it. Star for Brian. Steven got it. Tony, you're also right. You absolutely can, but I can't deny that those are both right. Okay. Andy says, Andy, you're the odd man out. And it used to be author markup, but I don't think you can. Kevin, you can't verify as no, not as a verified publisher as author markup anymore. I don't think. Andy, I'm not.
Now he's no more.
No, yeah, it's gone. Andy, in fact, Kevin sent me the link to what's the fellow's name from Google? You know, it was like a. Yeah,
I can't remember who it was.
Well, it's the head guy, and he was
so many of them.
I mean, it was really quite one of the more interesting posts I've ever got from a Google advocate staff member who's like, author markup, rest in peace. We've had fun, not really. So sorry your photos are gone, but we don't really care. It wasn't helping anyone except maybe you, not us. It was really kind of fun.
John Mueller.
John Mueller, yeah. Rest in peace. Anyway, this is very different, as I discussed last week, but you definitely want to have this connected. And again, so much more I want to tell you about Kevin's side of the fence with all this stuff, but it's going to have to be live event. So here's what we're going to do. One thing you definitely want to do is we're going to start adding some custom links. I gave you the assignment to create all of your social media accounts so that you can laterally go across the dashboard. Does anybody remember that? Okay, so let's start with Twitter. Here's one that I created, which is Twitter. And my Twitter account is specific to this blog. And you can see I've already made a mistake. I'm linking to Network Empire. here and really should link to video keyword research, because this Twitter account was created. I try to keep things simple for you guys. It's a one-to-one-to-one relationship, and of course you're going to discover all kinds of deviations. In fact, Jimmy probably has like 100 different kind of variations and deviations for everything that I do, so don't listen to him at all. Just kidding. He's not here. Jimmy, I'm checking to see if you're here. Naughty boy.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, I just got in trouble then. I was teasing you, man. So you can see this. Go ahead and put your Twitter account right in here, and you're going to want to put this here. Guys, any of you on the SEO team, specifically you, Jimmy and Sue, if you want me to change anything at any time, this is just superficial. I'm not getting very deep into SEO. But you could use, if you were targeting a keyword, you could put the link title in here. Okay. So what you just do, the point here is I'd like you to add links to your Google Plus page, because as Jimmy will tell you, this is a domain authority of 100, and we're going to start automating this bad boy. You guys know that, right? So you might as well get your About Us stuff tweaked out. And since you've got it all lined up, it's pretty easy, right? Side note, yes, somebody asked, which one of you was it? I think it might have been Tim. It might even have been Brian. I can't remember which one of you. I'm sorry. If you create a unique, you create a unique Pinterest account for your site, and yes, you can create a unique board for your site. Well, because you can post to that board from Social Explosions, one example. There's Snap. Hootsuite does not currently post to Pinterest, because Hootsuite is pretty above board when they create relationships with organizations. Pinterest doesn't like to work with anybody. They don't need to. So bottom line is you're going to have to use other means to publish. So I'm going to go ahead and put a theme specific right on my Google+. You're going to just add a link. There's custom links, there's social links. Let's just add a custom link. Probably I should diversify my keyword, right, Jimmy? I don't want to do the same one each time, but could be.
Pure diverse.
Pure diverse. Should be like no video. It's okay, we'll come back to that. Just get your stuff on here. Okay, so I think I've given you enough information to kind of, don't over-utilize the same keyword. Again, my area of expertise is not hardcore SEO. Carol asks, oh wait, are we linking to our PinVid website? Yes, you're linking to your PinVid website. Yes, for the Google Plus account, your Google Plus Biz page, Carol. Now keep in mind, this is all WR2. And at any point, Jimmy or Sue could come in and tell me that I'm wrong, and I would listen, because things are changing. There's a lot of stuff going on. But generally speaking, I'm just wanting you guys to get the basic idea without getting lost in the forest with the trees. You where? When in doubt, come back to this graphic and just give yourself a little brain tug. Okay? What I'm trying to show you guys here is that we're out here working on this, and it's to keep things simple. There are variations and deviations that you can do. It's a one-to-one relationship. Okay? In other words, Carol, the WR2 is the site that you own. The WRS2, S implied social or secondary. So there should be, for every blog, there should be a social media account. And of course, there are times and places where you might break that rule. There's always an exception. But you really don't want to. So it's not that, generally speaking, you don't want to be linking your WR1 Pinterest accounts like I just did to this account. Okay? So this should be your WR2 Pinterest. It actually should be the Pinterest board that I have not yet created called pinterest.com/keyword video keyword research. But everything else, let's pretend that that's a WR2. I'll come back and replace that. This is a brand new Twitter account. This is not our WR1 Twitter account, which is twitter.com/themezoom or twitter.com/Jimmy Kelley or any of these other ones. Okay. These are all WR2s. Okay, so anything that you have that's a WR2 social account, Facebook would be a similar thing. You would want to put your Facebook on there. Okay, the Facebook is here. It's going to be facebook.com video keyword search. Let's go ahead and put that in there. So I don't want to beat this dead horse. I'm just trying to give you guys that this is an appropriate place for you to add links that are congruent with that layer of the web ring. Does that make sense, Jimmy?
Yes.
Do you have anything to add that's totally contrary? That's fine if you do. We didn't talk about this, so it's not a big deal.
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Everybody's all freaked out about this last update. Okay. Any questions on that? Looks like Brian says, I know you don't teach fake personas, but best sources for our staff members pick is somewhat safe to use identity pick for Google+. I don't understand your question, Brian. Sorry. Best sources for our staff member pick. Is that, you're right, I don't, all I can say is you're right, I don't teach fake personas on the webinars or necessarily anywhere else. However, we do discuss the concept at the live event because it's a rabbit hole that we would go down that would take all day, like literally. And it's also related to the semantic web stuff we teach and the do's and don'ts, so the decision tree is extremely complex. And there's no way I can talk about it on a 3-hour webinar. But I like your question, Brian. Okay, so we have, it's a great question. All right, let's move on. Okay, if you start to lose momentum, or your outsourcing team starts to lose momentum, go right back to your spreadsheet, if you can find it, which clearly I can't. Sue, what'd you do with my spreadsheet?
I deleted it.
Right. Okay, I'm going to put this. This is why I have 3 monitors, guys, and even then I'm confused. Okay, I'm going to put this over to the left side. Okay, here's all the black hat stuff I'm doing this morning. Just kidding. Let's go ahead and close this. I've literally lost the spreadsheet. I think I can shut that one. You guys are not supposed to be looking at my desktop, so don't. Just kidding. I'll hide everything. Okay.
We're not looking.
Sure you're not. Okay, I have literally 60 browsers open, so I'm sorry about that. I should clean that up. Okay, now we can definitely say that I've added these. I added the Twitter profile. Double check your Go+ Biz page. Okay. Now there's another functional aspect of the PinVid that I've started adding. It's the social widget. And I've left you guys the link to the social widget. I'm more and more moving into as much engagement and authentication that makes these things look real and pass a manual review. A manual review person, all they would have to do is click on a Twitter account and see that the matching person to the Twitter, you just got to start thinking in terms of authenticating. Okay. So I'm wondering, Sue, should I get into that even though it's not a part of the hosting shop conglomeration yet, or?
Probably not.
Sad. Okay. Okay. We'll leave that here for a second.
From my perspective there, Rusty, if that link is in there and you cover it later on and we need to add any plugins from the hosting shop perspective, anyone that's got an account just needs to raise a support ticket and we'll install it for them.
Yeah, I have to. We should talk.
We've tested it.
Yeah, well, we should talk about it because it's so incredibly easy to add to the theme that we might just want to do that. I mean, it's such a silly thing. So what this actually does, folks, is this is just a simple Twitter. When we get this worked out, whether it be part of the theme for you or whether it be the social add-on, I just want you to take your Twitter, your Facebook, and your Pinterest that you work so hard on and have a no follow. It's completely engagement rank based and authentication. On the sidebar widget, you're going to have a link to your Twitter account, your Facebook, Pinterest. Okay, it should be a no follow, but it's mostly to authenticate the blog and make it more passable for a manual review. Joseph is telling me that when he saw my desktop, there was no evidence of porn. Nice job. Thank you, Joseph. Okay. Install WP. Let's move past. Where are we? Where are we? Okay. Okay. Currently in this theme, does everybody know what a favicon is? It's this stuff that you see up here. Pinterest has there. Currently, you are going to have, I've left you a location where you can make them. Okay. Currently on this theme, you will need to FTP it directly to your website. If you're in the hosting shop, we are going to change the theme for you to be able to either add a favicon, and Kevin and I haven't quite decided what it is that we're going to do at the hosting shop just yet. The thing that makes the most sense is we will add, unless I'm missing it, it might be there, we will need to add a favicon addition. I'm a marketer, and favicons matter. They do create a distinction, and they create a consistency throughout your brand. Okay, so we'll leave that one blank right now. What I would just be showing you is how to use a favicon generator. There will be a little short video in your members area that shows how to do that, and it shows you how to drag it and drop it. If you're using the hosting shop hosting, if you're using OVH, and I know a couple of you are using other servers systems, then you know how to do that already. Okay, so I'll move on from that. Okay, so we were in the middle of configuring Video Kraken for auto blogging. So now we're going to return to that. Since I've done some of these things for you, let's go ahead and return to the Kraken settings and see what it is that we want to do here. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add the Facebook under video, and I'm going to do it with a WR2. Let's go into all queries. I'm sorry, settings. Okay, give me a 1 if you guys have made a like box before, and a 2 if you have not. Okay, no worries. Okay, so there's something called the Facebook Lightbox Developers version. What's a little bit weird about it is that you have to be in your personal Facebook area in order to make it. Okay, so go ahead and toggle it on properly for you guys. Pretty simple. Okay, so Facebook is going to ask you to be logged into your core account. That is the account in which your Facebook fan pages are associated. Does that make sense, you guys? For some reason, they also, like Google, want the actual identity tied to all the developmental things that you do within their database. I don't know what that's about, but apparently they require it. So this is what it should look like if you're logged into your personal account. You can see my images here. Okay. Now you've already got your Facebook. If you've done your job correctly, you've got your Facebook already up here. And we happen to know that ours is video keyword research, right? So what you're going to do is just going to put that URL directly into, I think mine is, okay. You can always test it to see if that's right. That's a good idea. And there you go. And hopefully you guys know you can change, and when I say you guys, you know Carol, I also mean gals, right? You can change the URL of your Facebook page to match. Okay. Good. So there's a couple things that you really want to do. The key component of an automatic site is really having a lot of interaction. So your width can be somewhere in the ballpark. I'm going off of memory now. The width is somewhere between 600 and 700. So let's just go take a look at what 700 looks like. Yeah, and let's just go like 500. I like to keep the light schema. That's a little bit deep. Just go like 300. Play around with it and decide what size you want. Probably I should create a standard. Okay. And you guys can see that there's already images and faces in here. I'm not thrilled about them, but those will get buried when I provide the better quality Facebook like. Those of you who've asked about purchasing likes for increasing edge rank, totally fine for WR2s, okay? You do not want to buy Fiverr gigs that add likes to a page that use kids. Doesn't look like a business. You do not want to use them if they are mostly not the United States. So after much testing, I've started using edge rank methods that also are decent human interaction. And I'm not happy with this last one that I did. There are 4,000 people liking it, but the quality is kind of bad. All right. So you can also use the IDXML version. Okay, you just click Get Code. And you have a choice between HTML5, XFBML, iframe. I actually use the iframe, sorry. And then you can just grab it right here. Make sense? Now, if anybody else on my team has input on what they would rather use, that's what we're here for. Any of you guys know anything on those other types of methods, also feel free. Shortcodes. Go to a shortcode, and really what you want to do is create a new shortcode. Just go to the text area. You can just embed it as an iframe. And you're going to enter the shortcode name. I'm going to call this FB Likebox. I try to keep it consistent every time so that the outsourced team has a reference and a handle. Remember, it's really, really important. If I were to do FB here, but then inside the shortcode area on Video Kraken, use FB, it would not work. So it's got to be consistent. So you got to copy and paste when you're building that. Another thing you're going to want to do is remember that the like box, what you're calling this is not the same as creating the handler, which is kind of stupid actually. I wouldn't have coded it like that. In other words, they should just pull that from here. But you're going to have to keep it consistent. Just copy and paste directly into the shortcode tag area. And then, guys, gals, I made a video on this, on the shortcode thing, and the whole purpose of the video was to save you time. You got to click suppress content filters. Otherwise, on some servers, in fact, most of them, you get really weird errors. You can't figure out what's happening. Okay, so make sure that you have suppress content filters selected, and then go ahead and click publish. Go ahead and just take a quick look at it. Make sure you should see an iframe indicator in the visual editor. Click publish. And then go back to the shortcodes area, which is right here. Just click shortcode on that tab. You're going to see the shortcode tab. Does everybody see that? Okay, good. So just type in where that goes. Everybody should know. I got to throw out random tests just to make sure you guys are still here. I've talked for hours one time before finding out the webinar had actually ended. I was talking to myself for 45 minutes. Okay, cool. Where does it go? Somebody? Anyone? Give me the exact location. This is going to go in. Thanks, Brian. Brian's awake. Okay, settings. Sue was adamant about shortcodes, adding the shortcode aspect to the video silo plugin and to the, oh my goodness, silo plugins that are about to release. All the shortcode. It's really super important because if you ever, she's evil. You got to have shortcodes. In fact, we can use that for a lot. Yeah, not Carol. Naughty. That's not the right place. Okay. It's really important because I got early prototypes of this technology where we were just messing around once in a while. There's no way for me to get rid of those Facebox embeds anymore because they were all targeting. And there was one that we needed to target the WR1 site over time because it had so much traffic. We were finding that the subject matter was really drawing in the Facebook crowd. And so as soon as we switched it to the WR1 fan page, she started pulling anywhere between 20 and 30 extra fans per day. It was a very large site, okay, but it wasn't large when it started, and she was just like, yeah, well, you dummy, you've got to put a shortcode. So, hey, it happens to the best of us, okay? That's what I'm saying. Prototyping, you weren't thinking, you can't go back on certain things. Okay, so that should actually be good. So what do? You run a test. Make sure that it's working. I'm getting bored with these keyword terms, so I'm going to add a new keyword term. Can somebody please toss out a keyword term for me to throw in so we can have a new video category related to what I'm selling? Let's talk about that a little bit. What am I selling? Remind me, I can't remember what I'm selling either. W plugin included with training. Hey, I'm selling this course. So what do you guys think is a good keyword around this course? I should probably go over to video to Kraken instead of guessing. Right? That would be the first place I would go. How about, anybody have an idea? Has anybody done research on this market? Okay, fine. Now I'm going to put in my own thing. Since I'm offering a WordPress plugin, I can go ahead and put, I'm going to do a category on WordPress plugins. I have no problem doing that at all. It's not even going to be dedicated to video. I'm going to add comments. I'm going to go every 5 hours. If it's on Kevin's server, do it every hour. Kevin, I'm sorry, I was kidding. Every 5 hours, add new, and we'll just go ahead and put. Here's what I'm going to do. This is a little tip. I tested this on a far infrared site where every category had the word review in it. It was 100% automated, you guys. And I actually got complaints from the companies who had bad reviews that I was simply automatically pulling from YouTube. Literally, they like emailed and says, remove this bad review. How dare you put a bad review? And I'm like, dude, I pulled it off of YouTube. And it's open. I called these guys. So that's a whole strategy. I'm going to give you guys a bonus module in there that shows you how to create a 100% automated review site. It's kind of scary. It's the same thing you're learning here. It's just, it's how you lay out the sidebar, WordPress plugin review. Okay, we'll go ahead and click start. This new plugin coming out is going to be so dangerous, you guys. I'm afraid. You should be too. Okay, so you got WordPress plugin reviews. And you can see that the best WordPress plugin review should have the fan page at the bottom, embedded. There you go. Wow, what the heck is that? Oh, I know what that is. That's the description, duh. Okay. I also have an evil conversation when Jimmy gets here that I want to have with him, which is in just a few days, about when we pull back links from YouTube, there might be some cool things that we can do with that. In fact, there are some cool things in the works. Okay, so that actually probably came back. So Carol, can you see the Facebook like box? And you can adjust that. Everybody give me a 1 if they understand the whole process, what I just did there, and it's not like rocket science. Probably the more finicky among you might want to go to 740, which is the width on here. Okay, and probably if you had clients, you'd want to bury these faces as quickly as possible and go for US only adults. So you and I have both had some experiences that did not go well with clients on. You definitely don't want to ever do this stuff on WR1, okay? Like buy dubious likes with dubious images that look like they're all from the Middle East, okay? But here's what can happen. If you change your mind later on, the site starts getting a lot of traffic and the subject matter is not something that you mind, then you can later on change it to WR1 with, I'm only sharing this with you guys because it's proven results. So let's talk about this a little bit. I think this would be a really cool, controversial subject. I don't know how far Jimmy or Sue would really want to get into it. You have to, this is a perfect area where SEO versus lead aggregation, where you have to make a choice, where you have to make a balance between what is the client really wanting. You know, when the site starts doing well, I would never launch the site necessarily with the WR1. I probably wouldn't recommend that. But if the subject matter seems to be converting, and they have a very active WR1 fan page, so that would be, Carol, that would be the real distinction, is if their WR1 fan page and is active, that they're on it. Like, it doesn't do a lot of good to drive all this traffic and this leads and potentially undermine SEO. Whether it does or not is something for Sue and Jimmy to address. If nobody's taking charge of that fan page, in other words, if the WR1 fan page is not active and there's not viral interaction with it, it's a little less of an action that you might want to do. Okay? So that's one parameter or one interesting thing about it. The other thing is keeping in mind that when people do click through to the WR2 fan page, that there's going to be automated videos. We have not automated the videos on this page, but that's where things really start ramping up, because you've got like a like box window into an automatic video stream that is coming from this site anyways. So that's a beneficial thing as well, because that fan page, depending upon the methods you use, that fan page will develop page authority. I've got a page, I think our fan page has a page authority like for one of our companies of like 55 or greater. So Facebook fan pages are some of the highest page authority sites that I have in the network. Okay. Also keep in mind, don't get Kevin started. These are, some of you have questioned me about should I have comments on or off. We could go into a whole bunch of controversy about this. I can tell you this, that these comments are semantically marked up. YouTube's are not, as far as I last looked, which was about a month ago. Kevin can correct me if I'm wrong. Sue, I heard you breathing over there.
I did.
Can you go ahead and...
We ran a test.
Oh, okay.
And, you can have the comments on your blog turned off, and it will still post the Kraken comments that get pulled in from YouTube.
That is correct.
So, okay. So if you don't want to put up with the spam, you can turn those off and still have comments.
Yeah, I really didn't cover that, but I covered it better in the video in your members area, guys. You do not have to have comments active at all in WR on these PinVids. In fact, I would recommend not. We have a surprise coming for you also in a couple of months. Kevin and I talked about this morning. We have a Facebook version of the automatic PinVid site I'm very excited about. So again, you guys get privy to all of the different crazy stuff we've got working, all right, and it's eventually going to get to you. So bottom line is that on any WR2, you don't need comments to be active. I mean, you can just turn them off. This is a function of the plugin, not a function of WordPress comment. All right, so that means that if you do not want them, that you need to deselect them in Video Kraken. And you can see where that is. Now keep in mind, you cannot unpublish comments once they're rolling. So that's an important point about the Video Kraken plugin. If you go to all queries, if you made a mistake, at least in this version, Sue has fixed all this up, I believe, in the next version, like all these, no offense, but kind of silly things that our original programmer had. She cleaned it up. It's before she got to it. If you want to get rid of it and you, for example, you publish comments, when you go in here to edit, you can't do anything. So the edit is kind of useless. Like, why is it there? Oh, you can stop. That's right, you can stop. If I wanted to, I can stop that. Oh. I am so wrong about everything, it's not even funny. So you have to stop and then deselect and then start again. I stand corrected. See, I don't even know my own plugins, you guys. All right, so here you go. All queries. Let's just go ahead and check that. WordPress plugin, let's edit. Wow. Okay. So if you want to remove the comments, I was so wrong. That was an upgrade, I think, towards the last iteration. I can add those comments again and then start again. Very cool. Also, make sure that you have things published, you guys. So one person on the help desk was like, it's not publishing, it's not publishing, it's not working. Kevin, what's wrong? And then we log into their site, and it was like pending review or draft mode. I don't know how it got there because that's not a default setting. Make sure you're on publish, otherwise you literally do not have an automatic publishing system if it's on draft, obviously. Give me a 1 if that makes sense. 2 if you have any confusion at all. Just want to clarify that. I'll hit solve. Prevent some help desk on. I mean, I know it seems obvious to you guys, but I never assume anything anymore. Okay. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Okay, so I actually added the widget. So we're kind of burning through things. Configure video Kraken. You are configured. Create under video no follow UTM banner. I left you a video on how to do that, plus I showed you the basics. Create under video text. We can see we've done that. That's all shortcode UI, and you dragged it onto the video Kraken settings. You created a site-wide banner. Okay. Avatar generator is already installed. How do we know that? Well, we saw it because there are images. In fact, I didn't really point that out. There are images on those comments. See that? It's a plugin that we had built to add images. I wanted to give you guys an alternative just in case you have some kind of moral or ethical thing about using those images that we put inside, because actually one of you asked about this. You do not have to use images. In the recent WordPress update, you have, under the general WordPress settings, the ability to, I think it's under general, you can change those to icons. It's not under general, it's under reading, isn't it? No, discussion, sorry, duh. Somebody get me a tequila. Okay, yeah, so you have all of these. Default avatar, wow. This is a mess. Avatar, you can go like that. That is hilarious. It hijacked the default avatar system. I've never seen that before. Did you see that, Sue? Normally what you'll see when you log in, you simply deactivate. So if you do not want to use, we got to get that in the upgrade. So if you do not want to use the default avatar, go to your plugins area and deactivate. I think I gave instructions on how to do this. Just deactivate avatar generator. And you're going to go to settings, you're going to go to discussion. See if that fixes it. Yeah. Then you'll have an option. You can use these kind of dorky avatars that are not real people. Everybody understand that? Give me a 1 if you understand it. If we click Save Changes. For those of you who would prefer to use some other version other than our avatar generator, you can see that they will add that there. Never mind. You're not going to want to do that. It's not giving it a one-to-one relationship. Okay, I know what's happening there. Yeah. So probably the best thing that you want to do is just, in that case, you're going to want to leave, rather than using one of these options, just use Mystery Man. That'll be our option. Okay, not recommended. You'll get a higher result when it looks like real people's faces. Okay, but just want to make sure that you do know that you do have a choice. You do not have to use those images. Okay. Any questions on that moving forward? By the way, avatar generator is private. Do not give that away. Actually, if you're using a PinVid, you won't be able to, but don't give that away. It's not available in the repository. and not available to the world. Everything that you learn, I forgot to start our webinar off today as, you know, we have a zero tolerance for sharing any of this information. This is to protect you, so don't give that away. I consider that sort of gray. YouTube blocker, those of you who are certified advisors, we went over that during the light event. Okay? You know what that is. It's one of the more lethal plugins we've ever created. So come to the live event if you want to know more. Everybody installed their video thumbnail plugin, key and the bounce rate, we went over that. Okay, we've got a couple of top-level silos. How many of you have done your research in Kraken for what it is that you want to have your main themes be about? I'm still creating mine for this. Anybody done their research? Okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about activating Google Analytics plugin to connect the Gmail Analytics account. Again, all this can happen pretty quickly, you guys. You can be up and running very easily in half of a day once you get this stuff happening. So you can see the Google Analytics. You do not have to use Google Analytics. You might be more of a hard coder. I know that Jimmy sometimes will put the UA code directly into the theme, or Kevin. I'm not sure which one of you guys do that, maybe both of you. I wanted to make sure that those of you who really are cautious. What do you not have access to, Carol? I'm confused. Okay. Understood. I think we still needed to follow up on that topic. Okay. I inserted the Google Analytics. This is probably one of the better, simple. A lot of the Google Analytics things, including Yoast, has just got way too much information on it. If you're going to use Google Analytics, you're going to want to set up your account using a UA code. So you're going to go to googleanalytics.com using what? Using the same Gmail account that you use to create your WR2, right? So the Gmail account, which is video keyword research, should just go to your same Google dashboard, right? Here's a Google dashboard. How can you tell? Well, just go up here in the upper right-hand corner and see video keyword research at gmail.com. That means that the admin area that you're in, I don't know how Sue Bell got in here. That's weird. The admin area that you're in should have this. And since this is the only site that I've really added, that's going to be the Google Analytics, completely independent from your network. I'm on a different IP address right now, so on and so forth. You guys get that? Same with the Google Webmaster Tools. It's all part of the Google dashboard. Make sense? Okay. If you've added a Google dashboard, if you've added your site to Google Analytics, Google Webmaster Tools already, that will have activated and verified our original Google Plus page. In fact, that's how I got that little checkbox here. Okay. It's funny how it says link this website, so people will. It's already selected. That's funny. Just re-verified. It's hilarious. Okay, so as soon as you drop your new PinVid site into Google Analytics on the same Google dashboard, it's going to, right here, it's going to say verify the site. Once you do that, then you're a verified site over on your Google Plus Biz page. Did you guys get that? Okay. Now you're all set up to start adding your site maps and everything else. And we're going to kind of get into that. But first, get your tracking. I like to get my tracking set up in the first day. Okay, so you go, to get your tracking code, just go to your tracking info, and you're going to pull it right here when you set this up the first time. Now, I might be having some bandwidth issues here, folks. If you lose me, just stay on and I'll jump right back on. Okay, if you've never set up Google Analytics before, there is a few steps that you need to complete. We've covered this really, really well in Certification Level 1 and Certification Level 2. As you guys are beginning to see, there's a reason that we have advanced certifications prior to this course, because it incorporates a lot of these things. The bottom line is, and I will reference, by the way, inside your members area, courses that you probably should have already taken or might want to take, but the UA code is here. You can either use the tracking ID here, or you can just copy and paste it and put in the theme. Be a little careful with that unless you know what you're doing, which is why I've had Kevin install a plugin for you. You can just take this tracking ID go into the theme, and it's going to be under Settings. You'll see Google Analytics, and it's going to be defaulted out to 0. Does everybody see that? Okay. And you save changes. One thing I would point out, Google has different speeds with which it verifies your Google Analytics. Give me a 1 if any of you have noticed that. Usually it's instant, but it is not always instant. I've confirmed this in many separate cases. It's kind of weird. So you might refresh this and find out if it's been verified. It says tracking not installed. You see that? Sometimes you can just do a little refresh and it'll go boom, installed. Sometimes not. Okay, tracking not installed. This means it's probably going to be more like 45 minutes or whatever. I don't know why. It makes no sense, but I've confirmed this across many accounts. Even when it says it just checked it 30 seconds ago, it's lying to you. I have no idea why that's working. Probably the more technical among us, like Sue or Jimmy or Kevin, would tell me what's going on there. Bottom line is, don't worry about it. You'll come back tomorrow, and this will be verified. Okay, yes, Andy is saying it could be a cache issue, yeah. And since I am on Cloudflare, that could be also the same issue, Andy. It's an entirely different point. Okay, but you're good. All right, we've saved the changes. All right, you can knock that off your list because now you are set for tracking. I'm so proud of you guys because I know you're doing this right along with me, and you're all caught up, and you'll be launched in an hour, right? Okay, and now here's everybody on my team's favorite plugin, WordPress SEO for Yoast. I know it's Sue's personal favorite. Jimmy's a huge fan, and Kevin said it's probably the best plugin ever made. So you turn on regular site. All right, so the thing is that interestingly enough, in the combination of many things that we do, it is actually the best of the worst right now. Yes, even over and above one-on-one SEO, but because of the things that we need to do quickly. All right. However, all of this is within the auspices of following the way Jimmy and Sue recommend things, the way Kevin's talking about things. Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what I do. I go in right away. Yay! John decided to do server upgrade. I should have gone with Kevin's hosting company. Okay, so here we are. So let's go over to, you can see that Yoast is right down here. Everybody see that? Just give me a quick 1, just so I can know you guys still hear me. If you never installed it, Carol can see it. Everybody, okay. First thing I do is I think, what did Jimmy Kelley tell me to do? The big thing for him, because Jimmy Kelley is a hot button for me, is like get in here like as soon as you possibly can and no follows tags. See under taxonomies? Do not pass go. Do not collect under dollars. You can hide the meta box. It might save a little bit of bandwidth. I don't know. You know, it doesn't matter. We don't need the meta box. My SEO guys will jump in and slap me around if I make any mistake whatsoever, which is very possible. Okay, so that's the main thing. Everybody done that already on their sites? Give me a 1. Oh, crap. That better not be true, Brian. Wow, that's a change. I've been telling you guys exactly wrong. Wow. Holy mackerel. Did you see that, Jimmy?
Say that again, Russ.
This is no index follow.
For what?
Yeah. You no index follow the tags.
It should, but yes, you do no index.
Yeah, fine.
Brian was pointing out that I was saying no index, no follow. Thank you, Brian. That sounds really bad when I say that. I've been saying it wrong. Yes, I am so sorry, guys. Brian pointed out a good point. I may have
definitely want to.
It's just the no index follow. I may have actually said that. I am a stickler for wanting to say the correct word, and I think that in the video I probably said no index, no follow. Thank you, Brian. Actually, I might have to redo that. I don't even want to say no follow. That's like so bad. Jimmy, is it okay to hide the WordPress SEO meta box, or does it matter, really? Since we're not even using them, it's automated.
I don't know.
Will it save any bandwidth?
Don't worry about it.
Will it have? Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, it comes as a default. Okay, no index follow. Anything else on here, Jimmy, that they need to have on taxonomies that I don't have?
No, I think you're fine on those.
Okay.
They look okay. That's what I would put in there.
Yeah, that's I think what you gave us instructions on. I just wanted to make sure. So that's the first place I go to. Second place that I care about as a mediocre SEO at best is I just care about the XML sitemap. Okay, I want to make sure that it's up and running because it's the fastest way to start getting things up and running. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, the videos do get discovered on their own, so you don't have to go to the. Here's what's going on internally. I just want to clear any kind of confusion as to why I'm not going to be teaching you guys video SEO plugin. There's a bunch of reasons. One of them is that even the plugins that we looked at last night, including the new Video Kraken one, has a built-in video sitemap. All right, we're not going to use Yoast anymore. Therefore, you just saved $300 or whatever he's charging. The other reason is there's a lot of changes on the search engine that there's a diminishing return on the time and energy that you spend trying to use a really heavy plugin like video for Yoast. And in the upcoming versions, the video is going to be marked up properly as per Kevin and Sue in the automation of the videos. Okay? And the third reason is that a lot of the times they get found anyways. And so there's no point in going through all the diminishing returns required in what used to be almost worth it because of the video thumbs and is really not the same power that it used to be. You guys get that? I wanted to stay really clear because I know there's a lot of moving parts and it gets a little bit confusing if you don't know how those moving parts relate. That is why I'm not going to be showing you, I'm not going to be even installing video for Yoast on this site because I'm so excited about what's coming. Sue and Jimmy and Kevin constantly distract me with better and cooler stuff that they're building. And at a certain point, you just throw up your hands and say, okay, well, there's a diminishing return on using, I wouldn't want you guys to spend that $300 knowing what's coming, and that's already included when you already get the videos indexed anyways. Okay, so what you really want to do is just do it right away on your lateral dashboard here, your sitemap _ index.xml. Go over to your webmaster tool that you've already got because you've verified. Click on the upper right-hand corner under sitemaps. And I'm going to give you guys a little secret. These sitemaps, this sitemap is actually pretty good. The video sitemap is gone, so I'm actually going to blow it away. You don't want to put any mixed messages out there. That was from the previous version of this site before we flattened it for the webinar. Okay. Okay, so we just blew that away. Now you can see that this is already the correct URL, but we might want to update it. Okay, let's go ahead and you can resubmit a sitemap. You can test a sitemap. There's obviously some issues with this one. Okay, view test results. Let's close the sitemap test page. Let's go back up one layer. I'm actually going to blow this thing away and just resubmit it and show you guys. Because this is an old sitemap. I noticed that it was still showing some things were indexed that we blew away on the first incarnation of this site. Okay, there we go. This is a real URL. Let's go ahead and blow this away. Okay, so a clean start will look like this for you guys. You just turned on Yoast's sitemap. You just click and add it. All you need to do is get that sitemap _ index.xml, and that would be true for any sitemap services that you're using, including if you decide to use sitemaps like images. If you're using the PinVid and the hosting shop, just stay really clear with the best standards and practices that Kevin and Sue are laying down in terms of sitemaps. Okay, it'll just follow the directions that we are. Submit the sitemap, refresh the page, and then you'll start to see, as things get indexed, you'll see videos start to come in. Okay? There's one minor error here. Okay, so this is probably going to be pending. And what will happen is, as things start to come in, you'll begin to see as the sites get indexed, which will start to happen really quickly, especially when you start incorporating some of the latter phases of the site. Everybody clear on that? Give me one if you understand how to submit a sitemap. Okay, everybody's good. Yay. Okay, this is something that's bad, so probably if we refresh, it's just going to show us that the site is down. No, it's up. Okay. So what will happen there is that'll come along and parse it later on, and we'll probably see. It'll go away. Yeah, because we are up. But I should go in later on and just double check, make sure that everything's moving. We have our server person check our site maps weekly across all many PinVid sites. Okay, so I don't want you guys to think that I sit here all day and look at site maps. That's outsourced. Okay, we actually have an alert system we set up for that. So we'll get into more of that a little bit later on. Okay, and back to whatever it is that we were doing. We've been on for an hour and a half. Wow, has it really been that long? Jeez Louise. Okay. Is there anything else in Yoast that you want to cover while we're there, Jimmy? Let me just double check.
I don't think so.
Okay. Let me. I do get questions on the social side of things, but here's the thing, you guys. Because Kevin has marked up this theme, you don't need to mess around with the social stuff. I was going to ask Kevin about this. I can't actually remember. Kevin, are you still here? Can you remind me? Because I know that you're a huge fan of the Yoast plugin, and you should give me the best instructions on this. How do are we supposed to deselect Open Graph metadata on Yoast because of the theme, or are we supposed to leave it on?
The way the default settings come out with the magic button is, with this iteration of the theme, it's actually got the basics of the Open Graph metadata for each page there. In preparation for what we've got coming, so you don't need to check that. If you do, you'll end up with duplicate listing, which you don't really want.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think the default import, like most of the plugins are configured when you import them. I think we may need to adjust that one. I think we might have forgotten to uncheck that by default during import. It's minor, but that's good to know. So you guys don't, this theme has already got the Open Graph meta. And you'll be able to tell that right away if your images on Facebook should pop. They should already be there. Carol's saying, yep, it's not checked in mine that I got from Kevin. And the truth is, I was using an older version of the theme before Kevin went in there and just preset everything. Guys, I want to emphasize that you don't have to really do anything. And the fact that I'm going over all this, if you've imported the recent version of the theme, it's already set exactly as you need it. All right, so I really don't need to waste any more time on this then. I keep forgetting that Kevin is just taking away everything that I have to show you left and right by automating the entire process. Isn't that horrible? You guys hate automation, right? Yeah, thought so. Okay, so that's that. So when you're using the old version of the theme, you don't have to think about it. But it is good also to have a little bit of an understanding as to why Kevin had those things. Jimmy weighed in on the no follows, and Kevin made all the semantic markup correct. Okay, cool. I think now it's time to take a 5-minute break, if everybody's okay with that. I definitely need one. My voice is starting to feel a little bit on the... When we come back, we're going to... Let's have a little bit of glitz today. I want to make sure that we run... I would like to skip ahead a little bit, not too far ahead, but we're going to rapidly go through some of these things, and we're going to automate in one fell swoop via Hootsuite all of these social accounts that we've made. At least we're going to automate Facebook and Twitter, and we're going to show you how to do that, okay? So let's take a 5-minute break. Everybody grab whatever they need, coffee or whatever, and I'll see you back here in 5 minutes, okay?
I'm going to be handing out shots of tequila for anybody who hangs around.
Yeah, if you hang around and are not going to get your own tequila like I am.
Can I have mine then?
Tim, we are currently recording this, yes, so you probably will be able to get everything that you need from the recording. Okay, thanks. See you guys. See you, Tim. All right, I'll be back in 4 minutes now.
And Joseph's asked, is it good tequila? Well, when I was over there, I'm not a drinker, but I can say that it was smooth and lots of it got drunk. So while Russ has sort of just gone off, I'm sure some of you are making cups of tea or doing other things. If there's any questions that any of those of you that are still here have got for myself, Sue, Jimmy, if you want to put those out now, we'll be the halftime entertainment without wardrobe malfunctions.
Wardrobe malfunctions? Oh, no, no, no. I'm not answering any questions about my wardrobe.
Do I use
An OptiClick?
I haven't done, Andy. Let me just go and have a quick look.
Are you guys all following what Russ is showing here? Give me a 1 if it's all clear, and a 2 if you're a bit confused. Okay. Clearly most people are gone to coffee. Good. And give me a 1 if you've learned something new today. And a 2 if you knew all this stuff already. All right, excellent. How many folks think they're going to have their PinVid set up by next week? At least like the initial setup. Anybody? Dang, crickets.
There are some that have been set up already.
Don't make me get out my whips.
We'll just share a super secret SEO trick, but everybody will miss it by the time they get back.
Well, they'll all have to watch the recording then.
Okay.
Russ, it's only been 3 minutes.
I think well, there's a Cloudflare error. I was checking something on the other computer.
Okay.
We've been having a couple of server issues. Okay. I think we should just go ahead and buzz through. Well, first of all, I'm going to faithfully go back to my spreadsheet because you know how I love that. If I can find it anyways. I just love spreadsheets. You can ask Sue. Okay. Go ahead and check that off since Kevin's taking all the fun out of that. Okay, let's quickly review the sitemap issue. I'm going to buzz right through this. I think I already did. I don't even need to reiterate. We told you what's coming. I don't want to waste your time. Here for fun are some things that I've used. I'm going to leave this off. Don't use InSpider on the PinVid on the hosting shops server. Okay, it's a little bit crawler intensive. And honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10 about where you're really going, probably will end up removing this. I've had fun with it when I need to rapidly create a mobile sitemap. And if I need to create a video sitemap for a really, really large site that's been around for a long time, that's been demolished, there are uses for it, but I consider this a Band-Aid, okay, InSpider. And that is really mostly experimental, so it is something that's there. Okay, the video condometer is coming. That's the main option I want you to stay in tune with. And of course, the option that we're using right now is just to use the regular Yoast sitemap software and then just let the videos get indexed on their own. Okay? Give me a 1, everyone, if I can move on from that topic. So you can't say that I didn't talk to you about them. The real issue, I think you guys are entirely able to understand this. I know Brian and a few of you have programmer background. As Sue and Kevin have emphasized, a sitemap for a really, really large site like the ones we're teaching you to build as you build your empire needs to be a database-driven phenomenon. Currently, amazingly, there are no database-driven sitemaps in the world that are public. It just blows my mind. Just so you guys don't think that there's no opportunity for new ideas out there. Okay, Google Webmaster Tool, we're kind of checked that. Now here's an interesting plugin that is installed. Jimmy has looked at it. It's called we are now, by the way, in the SEO side of things, obviously. It's called optional auto tagging. And I can't remember if Kevin and I installed it properly set up or not. Just want to make sure that you guys know where it is. Because you are following, no indexing and following the tags, it becomes potentially useful because you've got that Jimmy trick in there. Just know that on the auto tagger you have, it can go back and auto tag things that you may have forgotten to auto tag before, and then it'll auto tag things on the fly so that you don't need to be manually tagging things. Does that make sense? So auto tagger is under settings. Right here is one function. Interestingly, auto tagger has a tab both under settings and under tools. And that has confused people in the past and led to help desk tickets. So we're doing this, and I'm also providing information in the members area so that you don't give us help desk tickets on this. All right. So under the tools area is the general settings, I believe. Okay. I'm sorry, that's not correct. Under the tools is the activate. When you press this button, you're going to automatically parse all of the videos, or as many as memory will allow, all the post videos, and it will automatically tag based on your parameters any videos that have not been previously tagged. Make sense? Give me a 1 if that makes sense, and a 2 if you need more clarity. In other words, that's the demolition button. Be careful. We're not going to press it yet, actually. We're going to go to settings first. Of course it's settings. Settings is where you set your area. Now, this is kind of important. Could use our SEO masters in on this one. Jimmy, you did run me through this. I think it was late at night on this topic. Can't remember how many beers and Red Bulls we'd had. But the bottom line is that we just put our silo framework. Has anything changed on how you want people to use this, and do you want them to use this on these sites?
Yeah, I mean, because you're doing this is for the tags that come in for the post, right?
Right, it's just auto tagging.
Yeah, so because we set them to no index follow, you can just load it up.
Okay, good. So because Jimmy gave us that tip, in fact, that's what led to me getting trained and Sue and Jimmy having a conversation, which went several hours in the middle of the night on this tagging issue. And this plugin was part of that conversation. What this means is you can just copy and paste your entire Kraken list in here. So for one of these is WordPress plugins. We've got just, I don't have the proper cluster prepared. Next week I will have the correct cluster. SEO software is one of them. So you'll take whatever keywords you have. Okay. And it's going to be a lot depending upon where you're going. SEO software and your whole keyword DNA. Because I'm going to take Network Empire as well. Okay, you can use titles if you want. I can't remember what Jimmy told me. I had the whole settings. You can use titles if you want. You can use categories. In other words, what will happen here is that when the bot goes and finds that there's no tag, it will follow these instructions. It's asking you, would you like to use your post titles as tags? Jimmy, did you say yes or no on that? I can't remember. He's thinking.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's been a long time. I know it's kind of mediocre. It doesn't matter that much either way, really. But
yeah, I probably would leave that unchecked.
Would you use categories?
No.
Okay. So these.
I mean, you could do it on titles if you wanted to, but I typically don't do it because you're just creating like the same keyword in a different URL string.
Okay. Kevin and I will.
But because there's no index, it's not going to hurt you. But it's
it'll take up extra bandwidth, though.
I probably would just leave it off.
Okay.
Yeah, I just probably wouldn't.
Okay. And Sue, you're in agreement with that, obviously, or?
Yep, totally.
Brian's saying, I got to watch Brian because he's always finding mistakes in everything I do. Okay, hang on, Brian. Tags need to be comma delimited. Oh, you mean like across the top? Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Thank you. By the way, I appreciate it, Brian. I'm not at all feeling I need somebody to watch out.
Yeah, I like people that are detail-oriented.
Yeah, no, Brian is very detail-oriented. Okay, so there's that. Include pages. Select this option to have pages auto-tagged as well. Should I do that, Jimmy? Or?
Oh, sorry. I keep jumping back to my other screen. So
Yeah.
this option, page auto-tag.
Well, since you're here, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that.
And also, last thing, Jimmy, and then you can do whatever thing you're blowing up. I never knew exactly what the right thing was to do. We can append, replace, we can append or replace. Append means it'll follow the instructions. Actually, since we don't even have these selected anymore, it doesn't even matter, does it, Sue? No, it doesn't.
No.
You don't have to do anything. Never mind.
Leave. Yeah.
He's always changing the game for me. So Kevin and I could probably at some point just have this as a preset, and then Kevin would take absolutely all the fun out of it. Actually, the fun that would still be left in it is you got to put your keywords in there to be tagged, guys. And then there's other tricks in some of our more advanced courses that Jimmy teaches on how to deal with tags that are so cool. Can be applied to this. So you update the settings. Now what's going to happen here is now you can go up to the auto tagger function under the tools, and it should be able to go back and tag all the posts. Anybody want me to go ahead and test this? Yeah, I'll go ahead and see if I can lift something up. There you go. So it goes through and does stuff. Okay, so it went back and tagged. There's still some missing tags, but it doesn't matter much, right, Jimmy?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Don't everybody all jump out of their seat at once with excitement. Okay, we're going back to the dashboard. And now you guys know how to auto tag, and that is kind of cool. All right, for today, since we're going to try to keep it under 14 hours, no, that's okay. We could actually finish. Can you guys believe that Sue wanted me to do all of this in like 2 webinars that were under 2 hours each? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a marketer, damn it, Jim. You guys need to realize how much of a joke it is, the fact that I'm teaching you this like stuff. And then it's just funny. Okay. All right, so Sue is just laughing. She's laughing all the way to the bank. Okay, auto tagger part 2, change blog on, yeah. Okay, so you guys have done that. Related post, does everybody understand the related post plugin? I don't have to beat that horse again, do I? Anybody not understand the related? I love the related thumbnails. That thing is so, give me a 1 if you understand it, 2 if you're highly confused and want to review. We all owe Southern Boswell a thanks. If you could, I got to tell you, I can't tell you how much money that little thing's made me. If you want to go to his site and maybe give him a thumbs up, he just has a Google Plus or something. He's actually a really great guy. I talked to him, and he keeps it updated. I can't tell you. Sue was laughing at me on this one as well. Can't tell you now how my perspective on developers has changed by doing this. You know, a programmer that keeps their plugins updated through versions, and it's free, it's just like, you know, how can I help you, man? Especially one this valuable. I'm getting a 2 from somebody. Scott, you don't remember the video thumbnail, super easy. Just so you guys know, the video thumbnail plugin, you activate it, it's going to be right here, Southern Boswell. You can visit his site. What it does is when you go to the post, that all the posts that are automatically posting need a thumb, and it's what causes the thumbs to appear on the index page. So see this thumb right here, Andy? Was it Andy? Scott? You see these thumbs right here? Some themes will do this for you. Some of the better themes will do this for you, but most themes will not because it's a variable. So it appears, like for instance, if you go into Introduction to WordPress, and we say we edit this post, Scott's got it. He's telling me I don't need to beat the horse anymore. See this, Scott? It turns the video into the feature. And that is darn important. Why? Because this is a meme stacking course driven by images, i.e. memes, i.e. concepts and ideas given to us for free from YouTube. And images are becoming so important on the visual web, on the new web, the broadcasting web. So that's one of the reasons why this is so successful, because after you do what I'm going to be showing you right now, which is automating it, just creates a lot of click action, a lot of attraction. Okay, he's got it. Good. All right. Network empire, social explosion. Social explosion. We have it under this category because it is part of the automation process. So much, in fact, is it powerful that we really need our own course on this. And you can see here in the members-only spreadsheet that I have a bonus installation video coming soon. The reason I'm delayed on this is because we've just updated this sucker. And Sue has been scurrying around and cracking her whip, and we've been talking to developers, and we're actually making a minor change in the tab. So I thought I would wait until the tab has changed its place so that I can show you both the RSS functionality and the ridiculously powerful social automation on it. But it does come as an install at the hosting shop, just to be clear. And everybody got that? Give me a 1 if you're cool with the reasons why. I wanted to give you a video that is relevant to the new version, and a 2 if you're really mad at me and think I should make one with the old version. Nobody? Okay, I'm okay. Right answer, by the way. Okay. All right, so if you're using the hosting shop, you do not need the CDN at this time. CDN is a whole topic. I will end up talking to you a little bit more about it. I've also put some speed, some hosting speed times in there from Kevin's hosting service. But I am also going to talk about Mac CDN pros and cons. I'm going to talk about Cloudflare free versus Cloudflare paid. I think it was Brian, if not Tim, somebody last week or the week before pointed out that the free Cloudflare does not allow HTTPS. This has just changed last week. Free Cloudflare now also includes HTTPS. Of course, Rick, or yeah, the owner, I think changed that over because obviously you'll be able to pull in more clients. I don't know how many websites with HTTPS you can include on the free package. I am personally not, yeah, Brian, I'm 90% sure. It might only be one site, but Brian, you were the one who told me that. He's made that change. Guys, gals, I'm not thrilled with Cloudflare. Like, it's okay, but Cloudflare free, where things really, the caching is so much better when you pay for the site. It's not even funny. Like, I still get index pages being down on that. And you have no need whatsoever to use this if you're using the hosting shop. Just one more reason to end up using it, okay? I know some of you are more advanced and you have giant servers, this and that, okay? I still recommend you experiment with the hosting shop and the settings that we've configured because we spent a lot of time doing it, all right? So let's just bypass this for now. Here's one of the things I want to point out, the downside of Mac CDN and W3. Downside is that you have to install W3 cache. Okay, there's another downside to that. You have to install W3 cache. And if there's another one, it would be the same thing. I mean, it's so bad. Like, I'm pretty like novice level in understanding. Like, I'll put up with a lot if I'm getting what I need. W3 has gotten so bad that like they have like software embedded in software so they can give you a pop-up in the middle of your freaking WordPress blog so that you can, it's so screwed up. If there ever was a definition of bloatware, I mean, I'm sorry, I'd tell them personally, they've got to lean that up. They've got to come down with a lean version. So, you know, there's a lot of problems with it. When you have to install something that's got 10,000 heavy-duty features and you only need 3 of them, just find another way to do it. Okay, I've had extensive conversation with Kevin about this. You guys are on a sweet server setup, and we'll talk more about different aspects of that in an advanced CDN topic. We're not going to cover it today. I used to install Mac CDN and W3 on every PinVid site that I set up, just so I could get this B-grade slope increase a few minor degrees. Now, with this theme is so lean that you have advantages there. You have the hosting shop speed as advantages. So that's a little bit of a topic there. Does anybody have any CDN questions while we're here? Otherwise, we're going to blast through that. And I'm just going to put updates and insights in the inside the members area page as they come up. And as those standards are approved by Sue and finalized, our position on that's finalized. Give me a 1 if you're ready to move on, and 2 if you would like to ask a question about that. Okay, the one last feature, it's just part of the SEO phase, is Samson and our cleaned up virtual backlink list. Is anybody currently successfully using Samson and has it working? Give me a 1. And 2 if you've tried to install it and it's no longer working. Or 3 if you've never even heard of it and never installed it. That's okay, Carol. Okay, lots of 3s. You know what? That's just great. Tony's like, I want Sue's version. Exactly. We are going to go ahead and probably remove it from the list. We are a big proponent of virtual backlinks. Everything you ever want to know and more from Jimmy Kelley. I mean, essentially domain authority stacking is a hybrid of all that type of stuff. Wait a second, I probably already told you guys about this. Okay, so the good news is that the one-feed supercharger W plugin is in the hopper. Since Sue has so much spare time, you know, we'll probably have this out to us by tomorrow morning, just kidding. This thing is going to be, it's a very high-profile topic in our organization. So it's on the, Sue just cracked a whip at me. I promise I'll buy the next cappuccino, Sue. Sorry about that. The problem with, let me express an emotion, thought, feeling, emotion. I'm almost relieved these days when plugins that are almost good ideas kind of go belly up, because then we have to like rewrite it. Because honestly, when something doesn't work up to Sue and Kevin's and Jimmy's standards, which is almost always, I have to hear them hem and haw about it, because I'm a marketer and I use everything. Like, I'll just throw in like whatever I can, right, and get it to work. And that's why we make such a good team. It's like, I'll do this and Sue will get to the root idea and she'll go, about 5% of the things that you thought about this plugin are actually true. Okay. Then can I have those 5% in a plugin that doesn't suck? And she'll say, sure. So that's kind of what our organization does. Is I'll take an idea, I'll authenticate it with people that understand the deeper technical stuff. And then, sure enough, Conrad has worked a long time on Samson. I really liked what he tried to do, and he just didn't have a model that's able to keep it alive and awake. I mean, we have a choice at that point. We can buy the code and clean it up and purchase it from him, and you will never hear Sue ever doing that. She's just like, no, we'll build it from the ground up. So that's just how we operate, okay? I just wanted to give you guys an inside scoop since you're in a certification course. So we got a pause on this. I would recommend not installing it. Jimmy has got a list that is the virtual backlinks, and so just stay tuned on that and use Social Explosion for now and as an alternative, which really isn't an alternative. It's just part of it. Social Explosion has an RSS feed right in it. We're going to come up with some methods, and Jimmy's just made a new video on that, so we'll include that in your members area. Give me a 1 if I can move on, folks, or a 2 if you're still dazed and confused. We already submitted our sitemap to Google Webmaster Tools, and then I got scolded by Sue from refreshing too many times. Okay, good. All right, cool. All right, let's just go ahead and do some quick automation. I hope this is going to work. I decided to set up a separate Hootsuite account instead of using my own, which is already loaded up with like 100 social media accounts already. Some of that stuff's kind of on the private side and so on and so forth. It's not so much that, like, there's not a real concern. I trust you guys. You're all certification. I know all of you. It's just mostly I wanted to give you an option of, being able to get rid of your Hootsuite account, pass it off to a client is a pretty good idea. So what I've done is, again, everything is one-to-one-to-one here. So I signed up for a free Hootsuite account with my Twitter account, and I thought we could just add an example. I'll go ahead and attach a Google Plus page and a Twitter page to an RSS feed. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do to 100% automate this via Video Kraken, now that you've got everything set up, think about where you're at right now. Let's just do a refresh. You got automatic engagement rank based video banner syndication system already being force-fed to Google Webmaster Tools through the XML RSS sitemap. You've got a Google Analytics tracking code that's tracking all of your results. You've got plenty of engagement on the site and some ghetto banners that almost force people to click based on certain little mind control tricks. You've got a socialization and social proof aspect of it because it looks like there's people. The better the accounts you purchase, the better it looks. Over time, it'll start to grow. So you've got a window into the social realm here. You've got your related posts. You've got a decent background. I'm not sure that this is going to be the final background, but you've also got a globe here that is going to give you some sense, especially when you start driving some rotator traffic to it, which we'll show you later or next week. You've got this kind of activity. A social explosion, of course, will start getting traffic from that as well. So at that point, you're really ready to start connecting the social accounts. So you go to Hootsuite.com, and if you don't want to purchase Hootsuite, just get a free one. You can sign up with your Twitter account or with your Gmail account. And since you're lateral, it doesn't really matter. So Twitter is already part of it. Let's go ahead and see if we can add a Google Plus page. Yep, you can see, just make sure that you don't mix your yins and your yangs here, guys, gals. Make sure it doesn't say your WR1 email up here. Use another machine, use a separate IP address, use Skyfall best practices. Go ahead and click accept. And what will happen is this specific account will connect to your Google Plus pages, and it's going to see it right here. Does everybody see that? Just give me a 1. Make sure you guys can see. This is a really important step. This is where you begin the automation process. Okay. Are there other ways to automate these things? Yes, there are. We know that we have certified advisors that use if this, then that. We know that there are people that use Twitter feed. It's okay. I'm not saying any of those things are bad. I'm just letting you guys know that I like this because it's a centralized hub and it's not free, and they got $1 billion and they're not going to go out of business anytime soon. It's owned by Hearst Media. Follow the money, right? I can go either way on that stuff, but okay, Google Plus, finish importing. Wait, no, that was wrong. Let's try that again. I just goofed. Yeah. Okay. Finished importing. Okay. Let's go ahead and add that. There it is. Okay, see, the check mark is what you're looking for. I think I probably made it crazy. Okay, and then you just go finished importing. It's been a long time since I started out with a new account. Okay. I could also add my Facebook page. I'm going to delay that for now. The reason is that this particular Facebook page is connected to my authentic WR1 Facebook account as an admin, which is completely safe when you're not doing super fishy business, okay? Which means that I would have to be logged into this Hootsuite account on my other browser on the other IP address. Do you guys get that? Not a big deal. I'm just not going to do it right now because I don't have to. This is a new Hootsuite account. I don't happen to have it open. I'll do that later. So let's just go ahead and get started with these two, and you'll get the idea. I'm done adding my social networks for now. I'll just go ahead and add this. Okay, it wants an email. And since we are one-to-one on everything, we know exactly what to put in, don't we? Everybody give me a 1. Am I putting in a WR1 or WR2 email address? It really depends. Yeah, put the 2 in, exactly. Unless you want some kind of updates, but really think through your process. Okay, now this is the login area. Hootsuite is a beast. I've heard mixed messages from people about it. Okay, I've heard people complain that it wasn't awesome. They have just never seen the RSS function. Okay, and the RSS function is a beast. It's tested and stood the test of time. It's a robust. I've abused it, like really abused it. Okay, so what I'm looking for, the entire suite is really worth its. Let me go to. Oh, it's forcing me. I hate when developers force you to do stuff. Oh, skip tour. It's in the lower right-hand corner. Thank God. Okay. So here you go. You can see the RSS. Does everybody see the RSS atom area here? Great. Let me just show you a couple. I always blame the developers, Joseph. Okay. And then they always blame me too, though. So if you go, you click up in the left-hand corner. Let's make sure that's right. Video traffic. No, I don't want the tour, dude. I love it. Okay. All right. So see this owl up in the left-hand corner? If you ever get lost inside Hootsuite, this is a very useful tip. Just click the left upper tab, and any social networks, they give you 100 and the $6 a month. You can automate 100 social accounts from 100 PinVid sites if you want for $6 a month. Of course, you can only automate Google+, Twitter, some Chinese or Japanese social account, and Facebook pages. You cannot automate Pinterest, but it's very nice. And I've run an RSS feed through Hootsuite to a Google+ Biz page for over a year without a failure. That is pretty remarkable compared to things like Twitter feed and the rest. Make sense? Give me a one if you follow all that, and just so I know you're watching. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and, since we've already brought these in, I signed up for the account with Twitter, so that's already here. Oh, by the way, you guys, you could get 99 Twitter accounts, an entire Twitter army in here, and run one RSS for the $6 a month. You could run one RSS feed from Video Keyword Research or demo site through Hootsuite and automate them all. Just so you know what you could do with that, or you could through one Google+ page, you could run you could run 100 Google+ pages through one, or vice versa. So it's just depending upon how you want to set that up. This is the free version, Carol. I was saying in the non-free version you can do up to 100 social media accounts. In this one you can do 5, I think. 5. There's no need for you to pay, Carol, if you're only doing one experiment, there's no need for you to pay for Hootsuite in the first, if you're just going to automate your first one. Okay, so let's go over to RSS Atoms. You're going to create an RSS feed. That's not it. VideoKeywordResearch.com/feed. So you put your pinvid.com/feed, and it's going to ask you, be careful in this drop-down menu. It's going to ask you what drop-down menu you would like to connect to. I'm going to connect to the Twitter account. Okay, I'm going to hit this every hour because I have at least one video per hour posting, right? You guys get that? Okay. You can include a text message in the post. I've tested it both ways, but I can't ascertain my results. You could, I'm sorry, no, you do want to include the text, but I'm talking about the prepend. You could say something like new video. Another thing I've said is video update, which seemed to get better results as it's socialized downstream. You have a choice between using their link shorteners. This is the one part of this service that SEO hackers like Jimmy might criticize or not like as much. He would rather use his own link shortener. But we have other methods of doing that, and we use Social Explosion with that. Owly does pass juice. Didn't used to. They changed it. Does now. I mean, it would be silly for it not to. You just click Save Feed, and as soon as you click Save Feed, you are active. Okay? When you go back to Twitter in an hour, presuming that videos have posted to your site on the homepage or wherever, then it's going to post them immediately to Twitter. And the cooler thing is it's not going to fail. Now, one thing that happens is that when you sign up, the reason you didn't see me go through the sign-up process with Twitter is Twitter asks permission to add Hootsuite as an app. So it's important for those of you who are development-minded to know that this is an app-based publishing system. Okay? And you can always come back here and check this. So you would check back in an hour. Okay? Yeah, it's very awesome. Let's go back and show you guys the same automation. RSS. We're going to add a new feed. If I was really smart, I would have just copied and pasted that feed URL. But since I'm not a developer and not very smart, I don't do things iteratively because I'm a mere marketer. Okay, you go like this, and you just connect it to, anybody recognize that one? That is the Google Plus Biz page tied to your Google dashboard, which is your WR2 on your PinVid network. Okay. I can talk how it's different from Snap in a minute, Scott. And Carol, I will also answer your question about the 100 account. We're going to do one post at a time. Be sure to select every 1 or 2 hours or based on whatever you want. In fact, if you're asking me for a recommendation, my answer is it depends. On WR2s, I think Jimmy would tell you, I know I would tell you, is like publish as frequently as it will let you within a reasonable. I don't like to go lower than an hour, which is why they don't give you that setting. And I wanted to give you guys an insight. I published every hour, on the hour, or randomly, just based on what Video Kraken was publishing through Biz Plus page without being down once that I saw throughout the year, and I was publishing every hour, and I got no penalty. The only time I've ever seen a penalty from Google on a business page through automation is when you accidentally publish your banner every time on your Google Plus page. So you do want to go back to the Google Plus Biz page and make sure that you're not posting a promotional banner instead of the video every time. If that's happening, there's something wrong with the markup and the graph on your site, the social. You're not going to have that problem on the pin. It's very unlikely I'll have a problem on this theme because Kevin has cleaned up my mess on that. Give me a 1 if you guys understand. That's super important. I want to make sure that you know. Do not put banners or even accidentally have banners. I watched a Google Plus Biz page get shut down for that. Now, my team suggested that there's no way that was the reason it got shut down, somebody on our team. I can't think of any other reason. The only thing that was different, you know, maybe they got, I don't know. I just know that videos work and with no problem for over a year. So 1 hour, if you feel nervous, go 2 hours. You'll never run out of videos. Just put video update or something if you want. Make sure, check it all there. Go back in an hour. You can hide your link preview on link social networks. I definitely do not recommend that because the link preview is what draws the click. So click Save Feed, and then hope everything doesn't blow up, which it probably will. Take another shot of tequila. You're good. Boom. All right, these are both automated, and anytime you come back to your RSS, you can see that they're here. And let's go back to Carol's question. Carol, I could put 100 RSS feeds to 100 different accounts, 100 different social media accounts. Not think in terms, when you Hootsuite is selling you the product in terms of how many social accounts you could add. For instance, if I wanted to, Carol, I could manage 100 completely separate Twitter accounts from this one panel. In other words, all I would have to do is go here, and what you would see on this dashboard right here, this would be gone, and then you would see I have an account that's almost that large. It would have 100 Twitter accounts. Twitter, 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 right? You understand what I'm saying, Carol? Or you can blend them. Twitter, Google+, you could have 50 Google+, 50 Twitter, or you could have 25 Twitter, 25 Google+, 25 Facebook. But whatever it is, they limit you on the $6 account, the non-enterprise account, they limit you to 100 social media profiles. And because it's an organization that is not a social media account, they're not monitoring or reporting to the social media hubs that, hey, this organization has 100 Twitter accounts. They have a Twitter army. Can you manage a Twitter army from Hootsuite? Yes or no? People type it in. I'm trying to get you guys to read between the lines here. Yeah, totally. You totally can. Not only do they not have a financially vested interest in the social media accounts, they're there to help you because you're paying them. Carol, you're asking the wrong question. Carol's asking me, so each Twitter has a different email account. It depends. If you're talking in terms of the PinVid system that I'm teaching you now, I've already expressed very clearly, it's a one-to-one-to-one relationship, the way that I'm teaching you. In other words, one Twitter account, one email account. Remember our dashboard, Carol? Look. Website. Gmail account. And to be fair, you're right, you need to, let me bring over the Gmail account. What is that? What is your biz page tied to? Gmail, right? No, it's okay, Carol. There's a lot going on, but I want you to know that I riffed with you a little bit and tried to give you some possibilities. I wanted to let you know what was possible, but I'm not teaching you to build 100 Twitter accounts to one site. Besides, you got Social Explosion, so you don't need to do that anyways, right? Hint. Just kidding. Okay, so, but I do, if I can. So, again, you have a website tied to one email, tied to one Google Plus one account, which has one Google Plus biz page. Can you have more than one Google Plus biz page if you wanted to for some freaky reason? Carol, could you have more than one biz page? Totally, you got it. Okay. And could you actually, if you wanted to for some freaky reason, not condoned by Russell and the rest of the team, could you have more than one Google Plus biz page running through your Hootsuite account automatically with different keywords tied to them? Totally. So you just riff with me. I'm just pointing out what could be. And would that all be safe and sustainable? Yeah, it would. More or less. Mostly more. If you do it right. Okay. Hootsuite is a good thing to use. Now, it's not the only one, but the challenge is you got to make sure that you're not making mistakes like I expressed to you that one client was making. All right. So Hootsuite is one option for you guys to do that. So when I go back an hour from now, I'm going to see my first video published. I'll just simply refresh this page. Okay, I'm going to go to the posts area, and maybe if we're lucky, one's already posted just from setting it up just now. But not yet, probably about 45 minutes out. Okay, and when you come back here in a couple days, you'll see all these videos posted to your page here. Okay. Good. All right, I think everybody understands that. Facebook can be automatically connected as well. I probably should show you how to do that, but I'm too lazy to. No, I would have to go open it up in my browser. Do you want me to do that? Let me answer one of these other questions. Russell, would it be helpful to import some scheduled posts, like import some XML regarding your topic so it is not only videos on Twitter, Facebook, and G+? Probably, if you've got time for that. I certainly don't. I wouldn't know what was gained or lost by doing that, to tell you the truth. You know, it's interesting, Tawny, that you should ask that. Okay, don't look at any of my private messages, you guys, okay? But I did set something aside here to speak to Tawny's little request. I thought you guys would be interested to look at 100% automated, artificially generated Facebook fan page. Oh, you got to be logged in. Naughty. Kind of gotten off the beaten path here. Probably shouldn't even show you guys stuff like that. There's a lot of software coming out that will automate and do exactly what Tanya was asking, like just mix it up a bit. I think, to be honest, Tanya, that will become more and more important as time goes on. But because video is video, at least right now, it still remains a wild card and lowers the liability that you might need to do other things. For instance, look at this post. Talk about Ring of Fire not happening because Ghost did this. So Q doing the above models, these mean nothing. If you go through this wall, you can see it's 100% generated posts and comments through a gibberish generator. And so his thinking is kind of like the question that you're asking, Tony. This software has probably discovered that adding comments gets your site more edge rank. So there's a lot of people trying to game the system. And you'll also look through this guy's thing and see that there's random photos like from everywhere. There's no meaning, only madness on this page. It's 100% auto-generated. There's nothing that's congruent. There's no real conversation. All the comments are fake. So people are moving to that kind of a thing. And it has limited value. That when I look at stuff like that, I still love it. I look at it. I wouldn't use it. And it doesn't have, pretty soon, that kind of fake engagement rank will have limited functionality because you're really not going to get any. It might help you with your edge rank for a while. Okay. So I will say that there are things that you can do, Tanya, to sweeten up that initial engagement. I haven't actually shown you guys that. When I first kick off these social media accounts, Twitter and the rest, I do a couple of tweets and a couple of retweets. Hopefully that'll speak to what you're saying, Tony. On Pinterest, I do a couple of full things, but this is just when I'm kicking the social media accounts off. Okay, when you can get retweets, it's really important to do so. So anything that you guys decide to do on your social accounts, you know, is really up to you on that, but it's not required. I have not gotten any. It's not required. You're not going to get banned by doing only videos, Tony. In fact, that's why we choose videos, is because, first of all, they're engaging. Second of all, you're providing topic-related conversations. You cannot, and as I said twice already, you cannot, it's okay Scott, probably you didn't hear it, you cannot automate Pinterest with Hootsuite. Hootsuite, the Hootsuite programming department is mean. In some ways they're worse than Google. Our plugin, Social Explosion, does automate that. And in fact, I think we're in the middle of an update or an upgrade because it stopped being perfect. Didn't work in every case. So we're doing that right now. Part of the reason is that Hootsuite makes it very, very difficult for a couple of different reasons. They don't feel like they need anybody else. They're they actually have the same philosophy that Sue has, which is like everybody should use our platform. It's not a bad thing. And they just aren't really open to any APIs, and you have to do specific things with that. So you can't really use Pinterest. And I think that speaks to one of the questions that somebody asked earlier, which is, what is Snap? One of our certified advisors reported in, and I think Sue is still very positive about Snap. Snap is a plugin that I can put in the members area. It does publish Pinterest posts like Social Explosion, publishes Pinterest posts, and has worked for the last actually Pinterest, Google Plus Personal also allegedly is publishable through Snap, which is not publishable through Hootsuite. Hootsuite only publishes through Google Plus Business Page. Why is this? Because there is no currently endorsed way or supported way by Google to publish to Google Plus Personal. They technically don't allow it actually. So Hootsuite works only with verified apps. Okay, so that's the way you want to get to Pinterest, is using our plugin, Social Explosion. I'm not talking about, you don't even have to use the Social Exchange network. You can just use the secondary. This is actually going to change around a bit. Let me go ahead and go to plugins area, and let's activate Social Explosion. I was waiting until I installed the new one. Actually, this is 2.07. Wow, it self-updates. Damn, they're good. Accounts. Okay, so if you go here, there's not an access token. This is going to change around a little bit, but the Pinterest settings, if you go into Pinterest, you can use an additional account. Okay? We are currently making an upgrade to this section, but you have to go and pull the board ID, and in order to do this, Pinterest makes it difficult, but you can definitely publish using this feature. Or you can use Snap, which does a similar thing. Does that make sense, Scott? Does that answer your question? Okay. And back to the spreadsheet. We've just done a whole, guys. We've just connected a WRS2, Google Plus Biz page, and automated it. We have not done the Facebook page. Okay, insert like box into PidBoard theme. We did that. Actually did it in a different location. Twitter profile for automation. We have not gotten the Twitter followers yet. Connect to a Pinterest account. I have not activated that, but if I actually am not going to do that live on camera today because we have an issue with that area. We are upgrading it. It's currently in the middle of an upgrade. But I would do exactly what I just showed you. I would connect our Social Explosion plugin to that in fairly short order. And I want to make another point. You guys have to have images in case you're using that on other sites like WR1. If you don't pull a featured image, you can't post to Pinterest. Does everybody know that? It's not going to automatically and miraculously pull an image out of a video. You have to have that video thumbs plugin installed, I believe, on the Pinterest, on the PinVid sites. Give me a 1 if that makes sense. Brian, can you please iterate what you say Sue said that was contrary? It's okay. We're in a good forum. Guys, Brian has just made a correction, which is probably true. She said that a non-featured image is what gets pinned. Hang on, let me look at my notes. Actually, I believe you're correct. This is something I went over with Scott, the developer. Yeah, that's right. I actually hate that. Sorry. Okay.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Featured images are theme dependent, how they're defined.
Right.
And so that makes it really, really difficult. Now, since we've got a specific theme, we've got our own theme for the PinVid sites, I can get Scott to include that, to actually look for that image and
That's
include
right.
that.
I apologize. We had this discussion. It was several weeks back, and you are absolutely right, Brian. And Sue, I apologize. It's really, it was, I remember the conversation now. It was really a challenge because everybody was using different themes. But we might have to make something specific per PinVid. That would actually work. That's an interesting idea, that only people using the
Yeah, we
PinVid
need to do a
process.
couple of it.
Gotcha. So you guys might actually get a specific kind of modification so that you can auto-pin the video thumbs. It's kind of a pain. Like, Scott really knows what he's doing, and he was really disturbed by it was difficult to pull the featured thing. Okay. Sorry, I did not mean to open that up publicly. It just kind of came out, but that's okay. That's what this kind of happens. So we will keep you guys informed on that upgrade, but that is a pretty major issue to be able to publicly pin your posts. I want to be able to publicly pin the image from the video. Brian, this is not the appropriate place for me to update Social Explosion. I really appreciate your help, and maybe we could do it offline. These are actually, I don't know the answer to these questions. Sue, you're going to have to grab those. I'll have to address. I actually want to know the answer too. But let's move on. Pinterest, huge topic, you guys, and Brian is super interested in helping as well. Thanks, Brian. You've done nothing but help us. I really appreciate your help. Okay. So I have not connected the Pinterest account. Next week I will give you an update about where we're going with that. Now, let's talk about the issue of followers. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. In this area here, I am going to provide you with the current Fiverr followers that follow purchasing services that I've tested. Does that make sense for you guys? I thought about showing you today how I do this, but I just really don't want to get into my Fiverr account in front of all y'all and get into and have you look at all the things that I purchased and tested. You might confuse some of the things that I've tested as being useful. Some of them are not. We test all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you with my precise. Now, I would like to ask you to please not hold me personally responsible for $5 Fiverr gigs that go bad. There has been situations where I tell everybody where something is, all of a sudden they're hit with 300 requests. The next day you click on their site and it's like, we're sorry, this gig no longer exists. Okay? They ran screaming into the night. So I'm going to give you what I have. I might even have some suggestions of what not to use, but you can actually get Pinterest followers, and you can get what you're really looking for is not about the quality of traffic. You're looking about the quality of the faces. It's a social proof oriented thing for your like box. When it comes to Twitter, you can buy, you just want to kickstart those followers. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want thousands upon thousands. You don't actually want 12,000 fake followers to a brand new account. Okay, so we're going to show you what it is that you can use. All right, and that's getting into some pretty advanced gray areas. If you have any questions on that kind of stuff, we'll keep it basic, but just don't get yourself in trouble. Keep your Twitter account. Don't start throwing huge amounts of followers at a Twitter profile when you have under 20 tweets. I've been able to bring it down to 20. If you're going to like stack yourself up with 12,000 or 30,000 fake followers, you better have 60 posts or greater, 60 tweets or greater. So that's just a general rule of thumb on that. It should help you. Okay, if you're going to fake stuff. Remember, the only purpose of this is just to kickstart the interest and get things rolling. You don't want to like try to run your whole universe from fake followers, okay? Because they'll actually start to pick up as you get momentum, as you start putting great videos to the Twitter profile and great videos through your Pinterest account and great videos through your Facebook account. You'll start getting that edge rank up, and then they'll start to snowball on their own, okay? There is some tips and tricks about Facebook with PinVid sites. If you've got a topic or a subject that is incredibly addictive, then you can start interacting. You will get people to post. Okay, you will get conversations having, especially controversy. It's okay if you hire someone or occasionally go in there. It's worth the $10 of time to go in there and start resharing things that people have shared, and so on and so forth. Okay, give me a 1 if that makes sense to you, or 2 if you need specific details. And Sue, you should interject if you think I shouldn't get into that kind of stuff at all.
Oh, I was multitasking.
Oh, that's okay.
It must be okay.
Okay. Can I give you guys a really bad example, and you won't hate me? Because I sometimes feel pretty bad about how much traffic it gets. Give me a 1 if you want me to give you like an example of a totally automated page that gets literally dozens of interactions per week. Certified advisors, you've already seen this. Okay, so the conspiracy theory topic of chemtrail research, right? No face associated with it, but I got this big scary airplane spraying out stuff. By the way, these are probably just like jet refraction, whatever. Okay, look up here at the top of the screen. How many people have tried to ping that page in the last 4 days? 38. These are not paid. Cool. Support desk with Kevin suggested perhaps otherwise. What are we talking about, Brian? Oh, that was for Sue. Okay, sorry. You guys are having a completely other conversation. That's awesome. Okay, so these are just people that have happened to hit the like stuff on this page. This page has gone completely viral. Now, one thing I would like to emphasize is that on the Chemtrails Fact or Fiction webpage, no, it's good, Brian, it's fine. This like box is part of it. So we pick up all kinds of people from the like box on the Chemtrails Fact or Fiction PinVid site. It's a very, very old site. Do not look at it in terms of what you guys have learned. Your sites are so much more advanced than that. That was actually a prototype in 2012, and it's still just raking in the traffic, okay? So you can see that these videos get published. It's paranoia ad nauseum, chemtrail, 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 but not all of it. There's things like crystal orgone unit to chemtrail busts and weird topics. Now what happens if you get activity, if you get all this, like the civilization in a box like happening, you know, like in Men in Black 2 when they go to the locker and there's a whole civilization inside the locker at the bus station, remember that? That's kind of what these pages remind me of. I'll go away for 3 months and go in there and like there's a whole universe living inside my Facebook fan page. Okay, so it's kind of like that. The best thing to do to keep those things active is when people send you things, it's pretty good for you to share and reshare. They're just expressing interest. See all these people? These are all real people that have like sent me reports and paranoia and all kinds of things because they're all freaked out. Okay? So what I'll do is I'll share some of these things. If somebody sends me something, right, just go in here and you can reshare it on your page. You can take an action and okay, if you want to, you can share it. That was actually a response, but there's all kinds of things that you can do in here when they send you topics, reshare and share. And also when people ping you with questions, sometimes you get heated questions and this and that, just reshare their stuff. Some of these things are people just reshared from other conspiracy Facebook fan pages. See, Sharon Norwood, she's a real lady that really freaked out in response to one of my images. Actually, it wasn't even my image. This is an image that was automatically shared. Okay. And look, this went viral. You can see that. Not hugely viral, but 2 shares. Sometimes I'll come back to pages like this, you guys, and something that somebody else shared, because I opened the security on some of these, has gone viral like 4 or 5 or 20 pages deep. And it had nothing to do with us. We've just automated the entire thing. I've had videos that are being automated directly from chemtrailsfactorfiction.com that just go viral. Okay? So that's just how that works. Not the way that you want to run an entire business, but if you have 20 or 30 of these pages, which we do, man, does that traffic add up. It just goes crazy. Makes sense? Give me a 1 if that makes sense. This is a complete deviation. You do not have to at all interact with these pages. Okay, you don't have to. Part of the reason I made this the profile is that, see all these freaked out responses? This is an entire argument that lasted for days. I mean, they be hating, like seriously. Do you care if the arguments are negative or positive on a WR2 site that's associated with a blog that has a secure who is? Question? Yes or no? Is controversy good? Exactly, Carol. Controversy is good. You don't care. Okay? Good. All right, we'll go ahead and end that. By the way, I've shown that to very few people. We have dozens upon dozens of those types of things going on. Okay? And remember, it's topic dependent. Not every topic in the universe is as interesting or pulls in as crazy emotions like that. Okay? So you can get specific in those. All right, so we're going to cover these gigs. All right, so what's remaining is things like Samson feed we know is pause because we have to replace that. So one of the steps that we're probably going to go over next week is the Google Plus RSS. As a Network Empire member, all of you have a Google Plus RSS feed. I'm going to give you the Fiverr gigs as soon as I hang up, Kara. I'm not going to do it because I have to open my Fiverr account, and I'm afraid to show you guys all the crazy stuff that we've tried, that we test. I don't want you to see my account. I don't want you to think that anything that I do is useful in there. Okay. Add the G plus RSS feed to RSub submit. One software that I do recommend that I think is good is RSS submit. Does anybody already have RSS submit? Give me a 1 if you do. Okay. Oh gosh. I'm afraid to open it because I might have URLs in there that belong to clients. I'll share another screen.
Pull it off screen. Yeah.
I can't pull it off screen. I can do this though. I'm going to change monitors for a second. You guys have the ocean view background for a second?
No, we actually see your password file. It's a joke.
Oh,
Yes, we see the ocean.
Jimmy actually did that at OMG Live.
Yeah, see, Brian, the difference is I'm not afraid of giving him a heart attack. I'm just cruel.
Yeah, you are.
Exactly.
And she knows how to use the whips as well, Brian.
That sounds like a voice of experience, Kevin.
I'm just glad I'm a workaholic so that my back isn't red.
Okay, so this is the best as I can get it clear. You can see the last one that was submitted, but that's fine. Okay, so essentially what you've got going on is you just take your RSS feed and you're going to want to create a profile that's theme specific. I believe the standards that Sue has laid down at this point is that you want to keep the profile that you create for RSS submit connected to the topic or the theme of your site. So all you have to do is just click add. You're going to put the RSS feed URL in of your site. Now I'm going to let you guys on a little secret. I go through this entire PinVid process grid and then I collect all of the RSS feeds and just click the button once. Does that make sense? And then you want to give it a title. Okay, and on the new version they're asking for keywords. I can type really. Actually I can't. Okay, and you should pull these keywords from your keyword DNA, which should have been done in the previous steps. Okay, and you can put a description in there if you want. Probably Jimmy would tell me to put the URL in there. I don't really know. I've never talked to him about this. Actually, now might be a good time since we have the brains, SEO brains with us. Is he even still here? So he's probably not. So do I need to do anything specific with this description? Okay, I'm just going to click, okay.
Let me just look at this for a second. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that might be something I was wondering about, whether that, I don't know where RSS submit. So when you buy RSS submit, they give the option for a $50 upgrade with the link exchange kind of thing. Don't get that. This is all you really want. You're going to have one profile. Now what you're going to need to do is start collecting all of your RSS feeds, all of them. Okay? And you're going to want to create a Google Plus RSS feed from our wonderful software, which is just really mind-blowingly poorly promoted because it's so powerful. I don't know what's wrong with the marketing department over at Network Empire. But that's good for you guys. It means nobody knows about this sucker. That's what you want. See if we can find it. And you should go ahead and, I was going to tell you to do this, but you really should make an RSS feed out of your Google Plus page. Okay, one place you can get that is in your membership area. If you go to Members Software. Does everybody know we have a members area? Just curious. You guys know you have a member software area? Okay. So here's the Google Plus maker. Click on that, and it should allow you to log in. Presuming that I have I've got to do this for Steve's site. Okay, I've never introduced you guys to this. Stephen, that's a great question. He's asking what version of the RSS submit do we need? I need to double check. I believe that Network Empire Basic members still get one. Gosh. Does anybody remember Network Empire members get, I know they get at least one RSS feed right with their account. Kevin, or is anybody here? Or am I on the call by myself?
Yes. Yes. No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
How many do they get? How many do
one.
Basic? Okay, so everybody, you should have at least
one.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. My brain's starting to hit the coffee again here. Okay. This is what it looks like. You just guys go to the area that Stephen, it depends on how many sites you have. That's the answer to the question. You get one with the default account, and you can purchase more. I think unlimited is $46 a month or something. Gosh darn it. There's a website that I threw up last week in my sleep in my spare time. Let me see where that is. If you can visit it, it's g+rssmaker.com. But you guys already have one, so I'm not trying to sell you this, but if for some reason you decide to go crazy, the unlimited version is $47 a month. Okay, that's what you're seeing inside of here, Stephen. Does that make sense? But included in your RSS feed is here. All right, but just start with one and think about what's really happening with it. If you go to the dashboard, you can see that I've got some RSS feeds built. My bandwidth here in-house is getting a little bit slow, guys. This must be the dashboard, actually. Let me go to projects. Okay, so I probably will I really need to create a module inside your area that shows you guys how to use this because we've had some upgrades, but here's your posts. All you have to do is create a project, see in the upper right-hand corner. Go to the upper right-hand corner and create a project. We'll call this PinVid G plus RSS. Okay, you can use aliases now. I'm not going to do it in front of you, but you can take your personal, but we've automated the biz page, right? So you're going to need to put the biz page in here. Coffee, anyone? And then you're going to take your Google Plus code, and now I suppose I got to show you how to do that. Oh my goodness. Let me see here. You're going to want to go back to your dashboard that you should be working with. If I can remember what the heck I did with that. There we go. And it's right up here. See this code right here? Can everybody see that? 106. It begins in 106 and ends with 988. Now you really should commit that number to memory. I'm just kidding. Okay, so you take that, you copy and paste it, and you put it here in the Google Plus code, and it's a Google Plus business page. And you can put a description if you want. This is for the demo. Actually, the description goes on the page, doesn't it, Sue? Wow. I got to ask Jimmy about this one. Might be able to use this.
Just a question off the top of my head there, Russ. Some
Sure.
people have got Google Pages which have actually got the names there as opposed to the number. Does this work with the names as well, or does it have to be the number?
Let me put it this way. We paid for the upgrade with Kostya to add the alias. That's what this is for. So yes, it is supposed to work. And I have yet, it's on my long whiteboard list to verify and test that it works. So yes, it's supposed to work.
So if anyone's going to test that for us, the help desk will be open later.
Yeah. It's 100% supposed to work. It was completed last month, and then I just need to double check. The only reason I haven't been selling that, Kostya has verified it twice that it works. So yes, the alias, for example, mine is plus Russell Wright. That should now pull correctly. Should being the operative word here, since you put me on the spot. Okay. Also note that it still fetches +1s, which is an amazing thing. It is. I have big plans for the fetch, the +1 fetching. Just never got back around to teach you guys how to use that. Still useful, but not not worth wasting your time focusing a lot on it at this point in time. Fetch posts. You're going to need to click this to activate it. Okay, and go ahead and put we are a brand or product. Okay, and save the project settings. And that should be in fairly short order down here at the bottom. You just right-click on it. You can actually click on it, and it'll take you. The URL, it'll take it. Sometimes it takes a minute for it to spike, but Google Plus RSS networkempire.com RSS posts XML. Is what it's going to turn out to be. So it's going to pull the RSS feeds, presuming everything has gone well. It's going to pull the RSS feed directly. That's something that you can put in RSS submit. Okay. Give me a 1 if so far you understand the purpose of what it is that I'm showing you and how we got here. Does everybody know how we got here? Okay. Here's what it looks like in a browser that is properly formatted for human beings instead of robots. Now you can see here, and this speaks to, I think, what Tawny was asking me, should I put some preemptive posts on there to make it a little more human in the beginning? Yeah. Okay, there's my, we just launched, something completely original. Here's also the video keyword research. When we start posting the videos through here, which should be like any second now, however long ago it was when we had our Hootsuite RSS feed. That's going to be dependent upon, oh, we never posted any videos, so we have to, there's two variables there. Is Video Kraken going to post the video within that hour? And has an hour gone by for Hootsuite? And what will happen is you'll see this start to populate. Now I want to walk backwards through this a little bit so that you guys know why it's so powerful, why Jimmy advocates this as powerful for SEO, why. You've got our site, which is G plus RSS Network Empire, which does have domain authority, but you've got all the links it's pointing to are what? Google Plus, domain authority of what? What is it? Actually, just listen to the video on this page, RSS feed domain authority over 30. I'll put it inside the members area for you. Jimmy gives you a whole talk on why this is so powerful and why you want to do it. Okay, cool. So at that point, what you're going to do is you're going to take that same URL and you're going to put it right in the RSS submit. Think about what you're doing here. You've just done like 2 or 3 really powerful things. You're going to add RSS. You're going to call this video keyword search. I might even do Google Plus at the head of it instead of the end, just to give some diversity, or I might. Keywords again, same thing. Use what's on your keyword DNA. So on and so forth. Okay? You can validate it if you want. Just add it. So when you're done going through your entire network, and finding out where all of your high-profile RSS feeds are. Then, when you're done, you can go ahead and click Submit All. Okay? At that point, you can click Submit All, and what it'll do is it'll submit to actually, I believe, what is, oh geez, 5.906 just released. I was looking forward to that upgrade. Excellent. So just click Submit All, and it'll submit it to all the currently existing RSS directories. Give me a 1 if you guys understand that entire process and why it's so important to keep track of all of your RSS feeds. Excellent. All kinds of stuff going on, isn't it? And isn't it cool that there's video on all of these? Now, if the RSS directories, which have also a lot of domain authority, pick up your RSS feed of a Google Plus RSS feed, which is hosting videos to your site, sitting on a profile, which is a domain authority of 100 because it's a Google platform, then you got some cool stuff going on. You could also put this through FeedBurner if you wanted to. At this point, I'm going to have to defer you to 3 variables. One feed to rule them all, which is a course we have in the members area. The other is the advanced one feed system, which you should have picked up in certification level 2 at swallowyourmarketwhole.com. And if you haven't been to certification level 2, you're really missing out because I'm not going to give it to you here. Make sense? Okay, cool. So then you go back to your spreadsheet. And I think we've probably been on for almost 3 hours. That's a pretty decent chunk of educational material today. You guys are actually, believe it or not, kind of badasses at this point. There's a deceptively large amount of bases that you've covered, especially when you go from the banner universe down. Okay, when you go to rotation, you're thinking in terms of conversion. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop it here. Let's go ahead and put a green line in the sand. There's some things that are mostly bonus material. Interestingly, Steve was kind of right that we probably didn't need that much more than 2 webinars for the basics. There's some things that are not included that I think we could have some bonus supplementary discussions about. Specifically, the Kickstarter traffic method, which I'm only going to reveal to you guys, and I want you to understand why I'm doing it, because in some ways it's antithetical to anything that we would ever talk to anyone about. But in this case, it actually works. Okay. We are going to go over opt-in forms and I'm testing a few opt-ins. We used to do these stripped opt-ins at the bottom. It looks like Max BlogPress, which I really, really loved. And Kevin had it installed on the server for you guys who are using the hosting company. I think they just kind of got fed up and went out of business. I don't know what it is. It's called Max. Just want to quickly cover it. Subscriber Magnet. Maybe they're just down. Yeah, their history. Okay, so that's kind of what happens. One of the reasons we're in an environment where this is actually a plugin that I would really like to replace. It just creates a strip at the bottom. Might even be a theme thing. So I gave you guys some ideas for that. I'm currently testing a new one since they appear to get bored. Opt-in Monster is highly recommended, and Opt-in Revolution. Neither one are confirmed, but again, this is a perpetual mastermind group, so I'll tell you how they perform. One of the things I did with Max BlogPress is I tied directly into Aweber and automated the entire video site through an RSS feed, and I mailed opt-in subscribers all the recent videos, the top 30 videos published in the last month. So what I had there was an opt-in that was 100% automated. Sure, some people were not interested in seeing like a link with a bunch of videos coming to their inbox, but I had a significant amount of people that still stayed in on the list. So I did experimenting on a lot of fronts, you guys. I experimented actually automating autoresponders on these PinVid sites. One thing that really works well is a popover video, and since Max BlogPress is gone, the popover video, such as Opt-in Monster, I'm looking to replace that. And as we do that testing, we'll be able to give you guys all the news on how that works. Because a popover video, when done properly, does surprisingly well on these sites when it contains a video of an individual who's giving a conversation or having a conversation about the theme at hand. So I'll leave information for you on my tests on that. Some of you have asked about bulk organization. Okay, and WP Remote, WP Manage, and Main WP are all systems that we use and have used to organize large numbers of websites. Okay, I need to take a poll from you guys about, we cover some of this at the live certification event, and we'll be doing so more and more. How many of you are interested in understanding more about bulk WordPress management systems for your PinVid sites? And how many of you already have that nailed? One, if you're interested, two, if you want, if you're not. Okay, it's about half and half. Main WP, some of you are going server side. Okay. Okay, that's all right. So I think probably at this point, based on the crowd, I'm going to just put stuff, I'll put some basic information in the members area because we cover it in other certification trainings. Yes, I've heard about Infinite WP, Scott. I have not tested it. Again, we'll talk about it in that site. I mean, in the basic members area. Okay, now would be a time to ask questions, so we can wrap it up for the day. What are you guys jonesing for that we have not covered, that we can't cover next week? We're going to do a wrap up. Will you show us how to manage your IPs? I will not. That falls in the realm of the technical department, which would be Sue Bell and Jimmy Kelley. No, I will not. That's not a part of this course. Is there any other questions? I can give you some mentions of things that you might want to use, Scott, but these you have to basically, yeah, I won't. They're not part of the course. I'm not talking about security on the course. Sue is, if Sue and Jimmy decide to put something in here about that, there's too many options. I can throw some things out. There are things that have not done that well for me, such as hidemyass.com. There's things like hide my IP you might want to check out. And until I get from Sue more information on how she would like to approach the security issue, I'm unclear on it right now, as we have ongoing conversations with certified advisors about Skyfall. Main thing to realize, Scott, is that does each browser window have a separate IP? It does not. I do something entirely different, which I'm not going to discuss until I have standards set by Sue and Jimmy and Kevin on this. I was actually told not to talk about it. But Scott, it is the right question. I really appreciate you asking, and please stay tuned for updates. Let me just put it this way, and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for it. There's already some things being developed in the works, because honestly, a desktop version of all that stuff is not ideal for what's actually coming. Have I said it? Is that enough? Okay. I mean, it can get you by to a certain point, but for where things are really going, you're going to need an operating. You're going to need something that's more managing your network that involves diversification. But that being said, I want to encourage you guys to read, to experiment, and ultimately, please don't waste more than 10 minutes a day on worrying about whether or not, if you are doing things like we showed you with a control panel that's lateral. Okay, if you do it like using incognito is obviously not anything that's really blah, blah, blah. But my point is that don't overly stress out about, if you're doing private blog networks, ask Sue privately at the certification event.
I wanted to talk for a second about this because what we're having you do here, all of the links back to your money site, they're all no follows.
Correct.
So you're not technically violating Google's terms of service.
Correct.
So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about hiding what it is you're doing. You don't have to worry about diversified IPs. You don't have to worry about all of that sort of stuff. The only reason why I use diversified IPs and I hide the ownership is just because I don't really want my competitors to figure out what the heck it is I'm doing that's driving all the traffic and all the money. So
Exactly.
I hide it a little bit, but I don't go like way the heck out of my way, and I'm certainly not worried about Google and Skyfall.
Does that make sense, you guys, that a lot of Google Skyfall was targeted at extreme cases of technical gaming of do follow links? Now, it happens, I think the reason people get confused is that it happens to parallel a lot of global concerns on personal privacy. Okay, they're not utterly disparate in their implications. And so, but I think what Sue has said very clear, and I want to emphasize, is that the you everywhere model is really, since you're using no follows and honestly, it's your own broadcast network. There's nothing illegal about having your own platforms. Okay? So when you're getting into the issues of identities, you're getting into the issues of backlinks, there is no technical gaming of the do-follow links, and you're dealing mostly with broadcasting. Right? You're not hackers at this point. You don't need to be in the deep web with cloaked identities waiting for the CIA to bash down your door because you're like selling an ebook online. All right.
And if I have several Google accounts on my WR2s and my PinVids, and at some point Google ties them all together, I really don't care because they are all actually aliases, right?
Correct. Think of it, Scott. Think about it as an agency. Okay, an agency may or may not have a bunch of IP addresses. Think of it like Sue talks about it. Think of it as a library. When your kids go to the library and everybody's on Twitter at the library, Twitter doesn't ban an IP address. They don't know that the IP address is necessarily a public library or the high school. What happens when everybody in the library all gets on Twitter and there's 80 kids all like hanging out on their Twitter accounts? Twitter doesn't shut down that necessarily. Okay, it's not, you know, you have to think about how IPs are viewed by the platforms and the issues and what actually creates that disparity. You know, so we're actually looking at a different thing. So Scott has said, if you have 2 PinVid sites and your system is on one IP address, do you open the dashboard for? I'm not going to.
You know, what I do is I have an incognito browser that I use for each one of my Google accounts and their respective Twitter accounts and all of that, just so that it doesn't get muddled up, and I keep each set in its own incognito browser set, and so that just makes it easier for me, and I don't have these accounts. I don't have Facebook trying to connect this account to that account.
Correct.
Other crazy things. So.
The big issue, Scott, is the ability to correct unilaterally across these tabs all the social media that Hootsuite's not asking. Like I have to open this Hootsuite in my non-incognito in order to connect to Facebook to this, right? A lot of it's convenience. I personally do diversify my IP, but that's not going to help you and doesn't help or hurt you in this scenario. I just do that because I choose to do it for privacy reasons. But it doesn't mean that you have to do it. Every machine in my office has a different IP address. Okay, cool. All right, you guys. So this is a really, really good does anybody feel like they learned anything on here? I need some group feedback. Can you comment what you've learned so far? Okay, tons, we're saying.
What's your coolest takeaway?
If you guys could toss in it, I really need help because I've never presented this to the public before. We are scheduled to have another webinar where we sweeten some stuff up, I think, and maybe get into topics that you might be interested in. We were only scheduled to have 2, but I think I am going to go ahead and stick with next Wednesdays just so that we can get more clear. I actually would like to have a social, more feed and specifically a social explosion on the new version of social explosion. I'd like to cover that for these sites, how to properly use it, how to incorporate it. Okay, the social feeds and automation is awesome. Okay, great. And the other reason it would be good to have a new webinar next Wednesday or the following is because the Pinterest stuff, we're actually making some adjustments and everything else. So there's a lot. I also was not able to cover for you one of the useful tricks I use to get traffic to the site right away. Okay? Probably I should just close with that. Does everybody, Sue, can I close with that? Yeah, I'm actually going to give it to them. Do you guys know what rotator traffic is from like the 90s? Any of you don't know what Scott remembers rotator traffic? Everybody's laughing. Guys, it's totally fine to throw rotator traffic at this. Rotator traffic is a great way to kickstart so this globe is working. Okay? When you have nothing, you want to kickstart this. Just give it a little nudge. The reason I like to use it, please keep advised, I am not in any way, shape, or form suggesting that you use this in any other way. And even then, I'm not suggesting you use it indefinitely. Okay? You can use services like this to drive 3%, it's somewhere between the ballpark of 3 and 5% to 95% bot traffic. Okay, so what you want to do is these are normally work-at-home moms and people sitting in their office who think there's an internet gold rush, and they're rotating through manually and or automatically on their automatic rotator, depends on the service. This service aggregates different services. So you have a significant percentage of these people who are sitting at home and they're exchanging either 2-to-1 click ratios or 1-to-click. That means they're sitting at Land's End working on the phone as a help person, like I used to do in the 90s, thinking I was going to get rich off rotator traffic the first 2 weeks I was online. And they're looking for opportunities, or they're trying to get traffic to their own site and they're bored. Yeah, Stephen remembers doing that. Guess what? Rotator traffic is actually still around. And guess what? They call them day job killers for a reason, cat videos. And what kind of site are we creating, guys, gals? Meme addiction, right? There should be interesting stuff. I mean, the stuff on some of your guys' sites is going to be way more interesting than this. So if you have a video on there, like, I don't know, here's a really old prototype of the site. Oh, please remind me to talk to you about how to choose a domain. Oh my gosh, forgot that. You guys have had given Kevin a lot of questions, and I forgot. I'm going to give you a video as well. Take a look at, for instance, this site, which is responsible for literally tens of thousands of dollars in sales, okay, in saunas. When somebody's rotating through this, or like chemtrails, factor fiction, or whatever, and they're on a rotator site, if you're doing your job right and you're picking weird categories, like, oh my God, north and south pole after shift, oh, well, I want to see what the world looks like after the poles have shifted. I'm sitting here in my boring office and I'm rotating. You're going to get people clicking through, because honestly, most of them are work-at-home moms, and they're bored anyways. See what I'm saying? Now what happens, what do we know about Google and time on site? Does anybody, have I given you the time on site lecture yet? I mean, holy crap. Especially if you're in the top positions, the top 8 positions for a long-tail keyword, that extra traffic and time on site, it doesn't matter if it's targeted. We'll give you that little extra nudge. You do not want to live and die by this nonsense, okay? It's not anything to do with real conversion. It's designed to get your kickstarting. When I started doing some basic rotator traffic, you could see in Google Webmaster Tools the rise of impression rates, not only as the blog got more videos on it, but over time as more traffic goes to the site. One thing I would say about this, and Sue will confirm, when you're playing around with ideas like this, first of all, don't share this idea with anyone. Keep it to yourself, and it doesn't work on every site. It works on site where the content uses engagement rank. Okay? Second of all, you don't want to live and die by it, and if you start on it, you don't want to get rid of it until you've equalized your traffic with authentic ranking traffic, okay? Because when you remove traffic for your long tails, you'll actually see a dive in your overall impression rate. It works. And it's dirt cheap, okay? Less than pennies a click. You can either buy it. You don't have to sit there and rotate, by the way. It's just, we're not asking you guys to click through your browsers like rotators. Yes, for this week, your assignment is to sit at your desk and do rotator traffic nonstop for the next week. No. Spend $20 or $5 or whatever and drive traffic to these sites. The more interesting your site, the cooler. Now, what we're going to talk about next week is we're going to have a module on how to add really weird and interesting content to a site. We're going to get into the meme addiction side of the site, which honestly, what we've done to up to this point is pretty boring. We have nothing super interesting yet on this site. I might even pick another type of topic to show you how to use Amazon, okay, how to use YouTube, and how to find weird and related videos to your keyword DNA that are going to stop rotator visitors dead in their tracks to get you deeper clicks. As you begin to build momentum, remember, everything is happening at once on these types of sites. Okay? Everything is happening at once. Everything all the time right now. Use it all. And you'll see this amazing type of material. And when you add social explosion to it, it just gets ridiculous. I mean, Sue can tell you some stories about our tests on social explosion. Okay? Any questions on that? I will put that little bonus tip and my recommended rotator service, probably the best one out there because it is so hands-free. Not something you have to use, but if you want to get that traffic kick-started and you want to see a massive increase of impression rate, and the more interesting your topics, even click-through rate, deeper clicks into the site, then this is one possible way that you can do it. All right. How many would like a webinar next week as well? A bonus webinar, unexpected, unscheduled, where we talk about weird ways to get crazy topics targeted to your product and service. That would be yes. Okay, need I even ask? Okay, good. All right, you guys, I want to express my appreciation from the entire team. Next week we will then talk about weird and unusual stuff. We will complete this. Next time you arrive, the site will be probably more fleshed out, and the pages will have started to gotten indexed. And there will be some basic updates on many things. I'm very, very excited about this system. Don't forget to think big. You know, think beyond just 1 or 2 sites. And contact Kevin if you are ready to scale. Just go, you know, get what you need at the moment and get ready to grow, because you will see a lot of growth on these sites. And I look forward to seeing you at the next week's webinar. For those of you who have not taken Tech Foundation 1, Tech Foundation 2, I do urge you to visit swallowingyourmarketwhole.com and really considering, I can actually feel winter. I live in Phoenix, actually, Scottsdale, Arizona. The last few days winter have arrived. I've realized how close to the live certification event we already are. Level 5, you guys can make it. Okay, I know we're all in different budgets. I've talked to Carol, who looks like she's actually probably going to come. I'm really looking to see you, because there's stuff that I'm just dying to tell you. We do our best, but some of it's just hard to express over the phone. So I would love to see you guys unlock everything and learn everything and arrive at our live event and really start to scale your empire so that you're making that several $1,000s a day that our organization is able to work with and create in our networks. So if you have any questions at all, we're actually launching the live certification number 1 again next Thursday, right after what will be our webinar. In other words, our extra PinVid webinar. So if you want to jump in that class, you haven't taken it, please do so. I'd like to make sure you guys cover yourself on the bases as well. All right, you guys, any questions? All right, from the entire team, myself, Sue Bell, Kevin Pauly, Jimmy Kelley, and Matt DeCruz, who couldn't be here today, we want to thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the live certification event training. Thank you.